G'day, I'm Michael Caton. The Australian Conservation Foundation's Green Home program is all about saving our environment. A low-flow shower head will save 10 litres. No showering at all will save 20. So when any of my active friends are a bit on the nose, I never judge them, but thank them for doing their bit to save water.
For more information, go to www.acfonline.org.au/greenhome and take action for our future generations. That's acfonline.org.au/greenhome.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Lowe, long jump gold medalist and world record holder. When I was 15, I was waiting to catch my train. In a split second, my life changed. As the train arrived, the crowd surged forward. I was too close to the platform edge, lost my balance, and fell into the path of the oncoming train. I was in a coma for 2 weeks, and it took 2 years to walk again. So please, stand back, look up, and stay rail safe.
Been playing for a while, sweet kicks, 'cause footy makes you smile. Sweet Kicks football. If you're getting ready for the trials, gotta go the extra mile. Sweet Kicks football.
Not always hearing that sweet sound when you kick the ball? Need to develop your footwork or explosive speed? Want to take the next step in your footy career? Then you need Sweet Kicks. More info on our Facebook page or go to our website, sweetkicksfootballacademy.com.au.
Gotta go the extra mile. Sweet Kicks football.
Storms are Australia's most costly natural disaster. Getting prepared now is the best way to protect people and to minimise damage to your property. Keep your gutters, downpipes and drains clear and stash any loose items in yards or on balconies. Trim any trees and branches hanging too close to your house and keep your roof in good repair. For emergency help, call the SES on 132 500.
Even when everything is going great, the black dog of depression can sneak up on you. You're not alone. 1 in 7 Australians are feeling just like you. But there is hope available. The Black Dog Institute provides information on diagnosis, treatment and prevention of mental illnesses like depression, bipolar disorder and anxiety. If the Black Dog is hounding you, visit blackdoginstitute.org.au for real help and support. Black Dog Institute, putting health in mind.
There's jumpers, hoodies and tees for you at leaguetees.com.au.
Leaguetees.com.au is your place for retro footy gear with designs created by local artists that you won't find anywhere else. Plus, their unique range of women's footy tees help raise funds for Indigenous literacy programs. Get online and start shopping today.
leaguetees.com.au.
We are the Australian Literacy and Numeracy Foundation, striving to empower our most marginalised communities through literacy and education. Literacy is having a voice. Literacy is opportunity. Literacy is dreaming big. Literacy is freedom. Today, you can help end inequality and give every child access to our life-changing and proven literacy programs. Your support is vital. Donate now at alnf.org.
It's women's Aussie rules. They're doing what they love. They're fast, they're tough, don't mess with them 'cause they can get rough. Are you ready for the challenge? Are you ready for the match? It's the call of the game. It's the VFL Women's Match of the Day. It's the VFL Women's Match of the Day.
Good morning and welcome to Victoria Park, Abbotsford, for the VFL Women's Match of the Day. It is Collingwood versus the Southern Saints. Last year's Mitre Premiers, they had a date in the grand final, and as we know, lockdown number 6 happened, thus the grand final did not happen. The Pies playing host the Southern Saints, who've been in the last 2 finals campaigns, last year bowing out in the minor semi-final to Geelong, and 2 years prior to that in 2019, of course, being knocked out by Collingwood in the preliminary final. I'm Peter Holden. Great to have your company here on the VFLW YouTube stream. We've got a star-studded lineup today in our commentary team. And when I say star-studded, she's in fact making her way back to the commentary box as we speak, because you may have heard her on the NAB League girls coverage via the Herald Sun website. And if not that, then if you've got a subscription to KO, you've been checking out the WNBL coverage. She's been heading up that as well. She is the full Monty. She is Julia Montesano.
Hello, good to be here. Thank you for the very nice shout out. I'm very excited for today.
Great to have you back, and you're ready to make the adjustment back to football after your big season of calling WNBL.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I called both footy and WNBL yesterday, and I did work some footy terminology into the basketball, which wasn't great, but yeah, hopefully I can get back on top of it today.
Before we introduce the newbies on our commentary team, we're going to go down boundary side first of all, and we're going to catch up with the man that's always walking around. He is the unofficial number one ticket holder at the Eastern Devils. By the way, he plugs them on social media. A very good morning to John O'Van.
Good morning, Pete. Good morning, everybody. I tell you what, I'll take that title, unofficial one ticket holder. But I'll tell you what, fantastic day for footy out here. I've been walking around, as you alluded to. Yeah, perfect conditions. Feels great underfoot. However, just about maybe 20 metres away from me, as you can see, might be able to see it on the VFL YouTube coverage. Yeah, there's a badly maintained sprinkler just exposed, and yeah, a very bad divot in the ground. So hopefully the players take mind of it.
I saw the shovel out there earlier and I thought, oh no, this is not like the A-League, is it, down at, was it Cooper Stadium or Highmarsh Stadium in Adelaide, where they had to get the shovel out and cover up a sinkhole prior to the game?
Yeah, not quite sinkhole areas, Pete, but yeah, no, worse than anything I've ever seen in the A-League, unfortunately.
Well, we've got two newbies joining us today on the commentary. They've got their official L plates and varying different experience when it comes to football. Well, first of all, start with the more senior down the end of our commentary team. Originally from Fitzroy Under-19s, played VFA footy with Preston and played quite a number of years with the Coburg Super Rules. It's a very good morning to Alan Matthews.
Good morning. How are you, Peter?
Great to have you on board. Now, I'll just touch on a little bit of your footy career. Just fill the audience in on your background.
As you just say, under-19 Fitzroys and whatever, a number of years ago down Preston with Alan Joyce as coach at the time in, I won't say the year, and then I went on to play with Brunswick also with Keithy Gregg and Wayne Schimmelbusch before they went to North Melbourne.
Good old Wayne Schimmelbusch. I remember, you may hear at the end of the broadcast, the song that goes Footy, Footy. There's lyrics to it, and there's actually a page which has all the players named in it and a description of them. In fact, Martin Duffy described Wayne Schimmelbusch, ridiculous name that screwed up the layout of this page. Joining us also today, making his debut, slightly different in the experience stakes. A very good morning to Toby Hansen.
Good morning, Pete. It's fantastic to be here down at Collingwood Spiritual Ground out here in Abbotsford. I'm a local, so this is my stomping ground. Really happy to be here on such a beautiful morning.
Now, just a stone's throw away from you. Now, talk about, obviously, that you're studying media at the moment, and you've got a little bit of a toe in the water with women's footy.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm right into my women's footy. I've enjoyed it for quite some time. I'm heavily involved at a local level, so it's really enjoyable to be able to call some league footy this afternoon.
Now, you said your girlfriend is playing, is it correct, at Marcelin in the VAFA?
Yeah, Marcelin in the Yamos, in the reserves there, so I enjoyed a good season, albeit a COVID season last year, team managing that with one of my best mates, so it was really enjoyable.
Well, we hope you look forward to the contest here today between the Pies and the Saints, where on paper it should be an absolute ripper. John O'Ban, you're down on the boundary line. You'll be keeping an eye on the injuries for us today. And for both sides, they've actually got a number of players out.
Yes, indeed. So in terms of the, I suppose let's call it the injury-o-meter, you've got 6 against 2. 6 out for the Southern Saints, notably Boyd, Smith, Dyson, Fogus, Jolliffe and Kershaw. None, fortunately, out due to health and safety protocols, but I know for a fact that Hannah Dyson badly did her wrist. For the Pies, it is Nicola Weston and Kalia Haslam, so ankle and concussion respectively. Nicola Weston will be back in 1 to 2 weeks, Pete.
Thank you very much for that, Jono. And Julia Montesano, I hate to say it, but you're not the only star here at the VFLW. For the Southern Saints, what's very interesting, two very big names playing for them today.
Yeah, two massive names, two big AFLW names. Actually, three AFLW players on the list today, but two probably more recognisable ones, it must be said. Kate McCarthy and Nat Exon on the list today. And you've also got Jackie Vott in the number 42 jumper running around. So, yeah, interesting season for Kate McCarthy and Nat Exon. So they've only played one AFLW game each this year, which is quite surprising, it must be said, considering, you know, St Kilda's record in the AFLW yet to win a game. So they're out here playing in the VFLW. Hopefully they can get some form and get their names back in the hand for selection.
It's scratching your head type of stuff, isn't it? Because what was it, back in 2019, they were named as the two big signings for St Kilda in the AFLW. They were going to build the side around them, and under the new regime of Nick Del Santo, they've found themselves on the outer.
Yeah, so McCarthy was a 2017 All-Australian. She was in the leadership group, the inaugural leadership group of St Kilda, and then co-vice captain in 2021. She hasn't been cited in 2022, which is really strange. And then Nat Exon, second in St Kilda's inaugural AFLW BNF. She's obviously had experience with Brisbane and Carlton too, so they're both great calibre players. It's great for us that we get to see them in the VFLW, but I'm sure the Saints AFLW fans would love to see them out there sooner rather than later.
Alan, I guess that's an interesting question. What would be the mindset of star players coming down to, let's be fair and call it what it is, this is reserve grade football, it's the level down, what their mindset's going to be going out there today?
I think the main thing that they'll be thinking of is, look, I know I'm playing a higher level, coming down one little step, but what I've got to try and do is emulate and try and get my performance going, get confidence early in the game so you can go possession-wise and whatever as you go along.
For the Collingwood Magpies, some interesting inclusions for them. Julia, they picked up Monique DiMatteo out of Essendon. The one name that caught my eye is Rhiannon Bush from the Northern Territory.
Yeah, it's really good to see these players from up north getting a go in the VFLW. There's a few running around at that level. Hannah Fosbrooks played in the NTFL and running around for Port Melbourne this year too. So it's great to see that they're getting their chance. Obviously, a lot of players from Victoria went up to the Northern Territory during that COVID period in 2020 and 2021 as well, must be said, where there was a bit of uncertainty about footy in Victoria. A lot of them shipped straight up north, and they've come back down to show their wares down in VFLW level, which is great to see.
And Toby, the Northern Territory weather might actually suit them. I think, what is it, we're expecting 36, 37 degrees later today?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a hot one. Thank you for the VFL to scheduling this one in the morning, because it's going to get real hot this afternoon.
Yeah, I feel sorry for, I think the Saints women's AFLW side, Jono, is playing Brisbane Lions, I think at 2:10 if I'm right, down at Trevor Barker Beach Oval, so they're going to be cooking.
Sorry, yes indeed. I know I said 24 degrees earlier, but it's now gone up to 26. This afternoon, it's going to be 31, 32 degrees, so yes, it will be a boiling affair, Pete.
And the Pies have won the toss. Caitlin Bunker was out there in the middle, and she says, let's go to the left-hand side, which I think is the primary school end of the ground here at Victoria Park, while the Saints will be going to the right of screen, the Sharon stand end. Otherwise, John O'Van, any breeze really to speak of out there, not only just to cool the players down, but to advantage either end?
Yes, indeed. So there's a bit of a right to left, so I reckon maybe towards the old scoreboard end there might be a bit of an advantage. Otherwise, it's slightly present. It, comes and goes. It comes and goes.
The great thing also, Julius, people follow along those, every VFL game being streamed. Apologies for the hiccups yesterday with Essendon and Western Bulldogs. But with every VFL game being streamed, all these stats are now live as well from Champion Data on the VFL app.
Yeah, it's great to see. It's great to see the coverage take it to another level as well. And it's the same with the under-18 NAB League girls as well. We've got all games live stream and then one on the Herald Sun website each week. So it's great to see that women's footy is so accessible now. It's so easy to watch, and it's so great to watch as well. I mean, the quality coming up through the ranks is unbelievable. So it's going to be a great year for women's footy, I reckon.
Would have loved to have Sash Doherty join us, your special comments person, but I think she's busy signing autographs somewhere.
Yeah, she's been great in the NAB League girls coverage. So yeah, if you do get around to watching a game, all replays are available in the NAB League app, and I think it's the same deal for the VFLW as well, that all match replays will be available. If not on the app, it'll be on the YouTube channel. So if you don't get to watch us live, you can catch us on YouTube too.
And of course, I just want to make note for those that are watching via YouTube, this is the WARFradio.com commentary team. We normally do a 1-hour pre-game show for every game and also have a radio-only feed, particularly handy for those driving along in the car. Unfortunately, we're having some server issues with radio.co, and we have not been able to reach their tech support to be able to get the situation sorted out. But hopefully next week we'll have that sorted out when we go and find a different company to use. Anyway, just about was going to say just about set because the Saints were walking into position, but the Pies are taking their sweet time. That doesn't matter. We'll start to get our tips. Let's go around the panel. Toby Hansen, your tip today. Who do you think will win and by how much?
I think it's going to be Collingwood in a tight one. It's hard to go past them at their home ground. Undefeated since the last run in 2019. It's real hard to go past the Pies. I'm going to go under 10.
Alan Matthews.
Also Collingwood, but St Kilda, as we had over a couple of years, they've done all right, getting close to it. But I think that their performance at the moment, Collingwood being home ground again, advantaged a little bit by probably 18, I'd say.
Julia Montesano.
Well, everyone else has gone Collingwood, so I've got to go to Southern Saints by ritual, right? So let's tip the upset today. Let's go Southern Saints by 3 points.
Down to John O'Ben.
You guys reckon Pies, Saints, and I'm going to say Pies 20 plus.
Whoa.
I am going the Saints with McCarthy and Exxon in. Saints by 10 points. We're not too far from getting underway here at Victoria Park, Abbotsford. It's Sunday morning football. It is Collingwood versus the Southern Saints. Round 1, Rebel Sport action, and to get us underway, here is Julia Montesano.
Umpire holds the ball aloft. Round 1 of the VFLW. Beautiful conditions, or hot conditions on a Sunday afternoon, Sunday morning game of footy. King wins the tap out in the ruck. Ma, happy to run onto it. Can't quite get her hands towards it. Ball's just going to pinball around. Now the Southern Saints get an exit and enter inside 50 for the first time. A good start for them. Running towards an open goal. The kick just misses by Olivia Flanagan, of course, coming across from the Hawthorn VFLW side. Good to see her getting on the board nice and early, Peter.
Indeed, and that makes it the Saints one behind. Collingwood yet to score in a matter of seconds. Katie Lee will have the resulting free kick and she'll work it towards the city side of the ground. Goes for a run out of defence. A long kick towards the half-back flank. Over the head of King. Saints mark out the back. And by the look of it, I think that's the 25 and Rebecca Neves. Neves tries to square the football up, looking for Rapari. Missed her. Pies come out of defence. Long kick, too long. Went over the head of Rhiannon Bush. Sold the teammate up the creek. Bush wanted to go back in for a second crack at it, but wasn't able to do so. Free kick going the way of the Southern Saints, and ending up with the football and going for a bit on the left boot is Ebony Nixon, formerly out of the Hawks. Nixon towards the half-forward flank, up against the boundary. A flying shot at goal by Olivia Flanagan is wide to the right, out of bounds on the full. Let's get some early thoughts from Alan Matthews. All the attacking with the Saints.
At the moment, it's all attacking. They're first for the ball at the moment. Collingwood just seem to be hesitating.
No hesitation there, although Maloney drops the mark. Could be crucial here inside defensive 50. Ma able to get the hands away to her skipper and bunker. Uses the outer side to go long down the line, but it's chopped off by the Southern Saints. Kearns goes inboard. Mark taken by Cormac. Now goes down that outer side. It's a good passage of play here from the Southern Saints, looking to get it back to where it came from. Neves will send it back in. She sold a bit of candy. Now it eventually comes inside 50. Good defensive stop. Still in there for the Saints. A little grubbler on the ground. Goes towards the boundary line. Katie Lee's able to pick it up and just handball it straight out and get a boundary throw in.
We should mention that early kick by 22 is Sarah Black. Definitely not the Sarah Black from AFL.com.au. A little bit taller.
Yeah, just a little bit. Poor Sarah. We love her.
As we wait for the ball to be thrown back into play. Ironically, mentioning Sarah Black, it's her going in the ruck versus Sarah King. Ball hit the ground. A few players overran it. Marla Neal wanted to get in for the Pies. Couldn't extract it. Rapari's lurking around the pack. Goes in to lay the tackle. Maloney trying to get a hurried hand pass out. Now the Pies are going to work it out of defence. Long kick down the guts. Went over the head there of DiMatteo, who couldn't pick it up. In goes Ebony Nixon. Ball squeezed out the back by a good 20 metres. Coming in to pick it up was Gentile. Her hand pass, though, was spoiled in the process. Having a crack at it is Matza. Ball moves out towards the Pies half-forward flank broadcast side here at Victoria Park. Picking it up as Bunker went with a run for the football. Hot potato stuff there for Tani Brown. Brown got rid of it before being pinned. It's inside 50 for the Pies. DiMatteo had it momentarily. Got it back to Bunker. Lost control of the football. Saints ball as they try to move it towards the half-back flank. They had the numbers 2-on-1, but the ball didn't go in the direction they wanted it. So Jolliffe had to come in and lay a tackle. And the umpire will reset the play. 50 metres out from the Pies goal going to the Sharon stand end.
The Rucks do battle again. Ricardo this time. Kick smothered. Bunker with the hands. Ma heading up forward. Target down there was DiMatteo. Couldn't quite get her hands on it. Now has a shot at goal. Just gets through for a behind. So first score of the VFLW season for the Pies, and I'm sure there's many more to come.
1 point apiece here at Victoria Park. And I'm looking around desperately for a scoreboard. I think we might have to write it as we go along, Julia.
Yep, so 0-1-1 apiece at the moment.
As we wait for the ball to be brought back into play, and they'll work it towards the city side of the ground. Long kick out of defence. I think it was Nixon who kicked the ball. Now taking it off the pack there, Hannah Stewart. In fact, it was a clean mark, pardon me. It was off her own hands. The umpires paid that. Still in defensive 50. Stewart goes for a little run now. Kicks the football out towards centre wing. Rapari from behind. Punched the football, hit the ground. He's going to be first to try and extract the pill. Everyone wants to jump in on top of it. The umpire will call for a ball up. On the bottom of the pack there was Rebecca Neves, originally out of Essendon, been playing a couple of seasons now at the Southern Saints. Let's get some early thoughts on how the game's been going so far from Toby Hansen.
Yeah, well, Pete, it's absolutely fantastic start from the Saints. Collingwood are trying to get through, but they just can't pierce this back line of the Southern Saints.
As we speak, the ball has gone out of bounds, and it's the old coming round the mountain when she comes lasso movement from the umpire, which means out of bounds free kick to the Pies. And the kick up the line, Rapari almost cut it off, but getting in there in time was Matilda Zander. Zander with the football. City side of the ground. Kicks it long and high to a pack. It's King. It fell short of when Sarah Black tried to push her way through the pack. He now does pick it up. Her hand pass, though, is smothered. Pack's going to quickly form. Getting in there is Hines. Close towards the boundary line. She does a little bit of circle work. Loses the ball. Going in there was Ma. She's dispossessed for the Pies. Little squeeze out hand pass. Sees King come in to try and lay the tackle. Ball squeezes out for the Saints, though. Then there was a hurry kick by Grace Buchan. Formerly the Pies, then the Casey Demons, now playing for the Southern Saints. Rapari was lurking around there in the pack and squeezed a kick along the ground. Going back there and getting a quick little hand pass there for the Pies. 65, which we don't have on our list. We'll have to pick up that view very shortly. Going in there is, looks like the 55 in... Jackson was the 65 earlier, yes. Then Buchan, thank you.
Just going to say that.
I was looking at the Southern Saints list there for a moment. It's too early in the morning for me, no coffee. And the umpire says, advantage paid to the Pies. And it's a turnover. Winnie Lang will take the ball. And here's the better, Julia Montesano.
So Winnie Lang, former Carlton VFLW player, grab a sort of kick. It does make its way towards forward 50. Plenty of numbers back there for the Pies. Saints fans call for gone. But the ball's just going to hover around in that 50 and the umpire will ball it up. Just wanted to mention, if you are seeing, obviously, the purple ribbons that the Collingwood players are wearing, it's because one of the players' mums actually passed away during the week. So our thoughts are with the whole Collingwood community and the family of that player as well. As the ball keeps in the Saints' defensive 50. Chance to advance towards goal. Gone. Collingwood free kick. Olivia Marr has it. Goes towards the city side. They'll just keep hovering around that side of the ground. It's been popular so far, this city side. Not much action on our broadcast side. Bunker. Again, elected as skipper of the Pies. Back inboard to Marr. She has a few options short if she wants them. One of them is Neil. Doesn't quite hit her. Eventually Neil tries to paddle it up and mop up the mess. Saints go back inside forward 50 in the meantime. No mark taken. Pickup was clean. Tackle was better. Pies exit defensive 50. Perhaps momentarily it's a bouncing ball. Foot race 2-1 in the Saints' favour. Ryan wins out. Collingwood just able to tap it back forward. Ryan gets another go at it. Pursued by Neil. Jackson running onto it. So too Colburn Veal. And Katie Lee with a heavy bub. Saints players able to stand up and keep going. Jackson dubbed in a tackle. Great work there by Winnie Lang for the Southern Saints, showing her wares early on. They'll go back inside 50. No mark taken. Boundary line hovering here for the Southern Saints if they can get a stoppage. Gag tackled. Ball still in. Kick towards goal. Just flies across the face. Still a chance for the Southern Saints to run onto it. And Cormac is taken out of bounds.
To Alan Matthews. Alan, a bit of a scrap at the moment. No side's really able to get a clear chain of a couple of kicks and marks.
Exactly wrong. The Collingwood side coming back into the game a little bit by getting a little bit first to the ball. The kicking towards it, play at the present stage, it's a bit soft. They're not penetrating enough. And St Kilda still, in that first early piece of the game, were running well, but now they've stopped a little bit.
Holding infringement going the way of the Pies for that contest, being paid against Jackie Voigt for getting a fistful of jumper there. The Pies will try and work it sideways, now trying to spot up Matilda Zander. Took it in front of Rapari. Umpire says, right, you can't move, it's the new stand rule. And she goes short. And taking the mark now is Elizabeth Jackson. Jackson with the footy in front of the coach's bench for the Saints. Kicks it long and high up the line over the head there of Matza. Ball dribbled out the back. Look out, here's trouble. And Gentile wasn't quite genteel to go through that contest. Hannah Stewart now delivers inside 50. Good mark taken by Nikki Cormack. Cormack goes outside 50 to try and get some space. Swings around, running it out towards the pocket, trying to get there first and being pushed off the ball was Winnie Lang at the crucial moment. It will go over the boundary line and out of bounds. Score check, one behind a piece here, around the halfway mark of the first term. Here on the VFLW YouTube stream. Let's also get some thoughts on how this match has been going so far from Toby Hansen.
Yeah, well, Pete, it's definitely been a game of one side at the moment. Saints Edge almost just look taller at the moment. They look a lot more confident. I think you can put that down for Collingwood to perhaps first round nerves. And John O'Van just quickly down the boundary line. One of the Pies players looking a little gassed early.
Yeah, I'll get back to you on that one, Pete. Sorry.
Just on the boundary as well. It looks like Joanna Lynn's down there doing some coaching. Obviously inactive this year with injury in the AFLW side. It's good to see her on the boundary, keeping active in the VFLW.
She is indeed, Julia.
Thank you, Jono. So umpire balls it up right on the edge of the boundary line, city side of the ground. It'll just trickle straight out of bounds. Still 1-1 apiece. A really tight game. Hot conditions. We're expecting a top of about 34 degrees here in Melbourne, and hopefully it doesn't get that hot before that clock strikes midday. There was a cool breeze hanging around early on, but it has seemed to subside, so it is pretty hot out there for these players. Hence why it's probably 1-1 apiece so far. Ball still scrapping around on that city side of the ground. Tilda Zander in there for the Pies. Debbie Hallett lays a good tackle. Loving the blue hair, by the way, of Debbie Hallett. Really bold hairstyle, but I love it.
Trying to get the umpires' votes. It stands out that way as we wait for a clearance to try and come out. Well, that one have almost been in danger with that little one there from Matilda Zander, just sticking the foot out there to try and make contact with the football. The umpire said no, it was fair. Now on the wing position, Winnie Lang gets it, I think, for the Saints and pumps it long and high towards the half-forward flank position. Now half-back flank because the Pies will rebound here. And taking the mark is Olivia Marr. Good clean hands at centre half-back. Olivia Marr with the football. Had Bunker on short. Elected to go further up the line. There was a little nudge off the football. Umpire missed that as it was intercepted by the Saints. A long kick inside 50 is pinpoint perfect. And taking the mark about 25 metres out from goal, directly in front for the Southern Saints. As we wait for that player just to turn around slightly to give us the number as the number 19 in Olivia Flanagan, who was formerly of the Hawks. So, see how she goes and see if she can put the first goal on the board for the day. She'll creep in. Angle's no problem. Distance is no problem. Goal umpire barely had to move. And the Saints go to 1-1-7. Collingwood one behind here in the first term on the VFLW YouTube stream. Let's talk about the build-up to that play with Alan Matthews.
Yeah, as the players come along, the Saints forward line open up a hell of a lot. And with the lead coming up there to Flanagan, made it a hell of a lot easier. She had the 2 or 3 yards break. And the back line from Collingwood had no chance, and she topped it off with a good goal.
And Toby, it all started from a turnaround, and you just can't afford to cop up the ball when you're going down the corridor.
Yeah, well, I was just about to say they're set up across that centre half forward and a high half forward is absolutely phenomenal. They're just pinballing the ball back ends, rebounding straight to that forward line. It was only a matter of time before they got the first 6-pointer.
So the two Sarahs in the ruck, Sarah Black and Sarah King, go at it again. It's going to be a great duel all day. Marla Neal pursuing her opponent, but she wins out. Melanie Batuna kicks it towards the city side of the grounds. Ricardo's hanging around. So too Xana gets on a run. Now the handball comes, but Neal's wrapped up immediately. Another great tackle from the Southern Saints. Their pressure has been elite to start off this one. And this time, it's DeAngelis that wins out. Short kick on the outer side. Good crowd building up here at Victoria Park as well. Braving out the sunny conditions It's inside 50 here for the Southern States. There's plenty of pies back there. And Exxon just wraps up her player in a tackle. Hope to call her name a few more times and see if she gets a few more touches.
As we throw the ball up inside 50 and restart play again. Sarah Black just ping-ponged around her, and then she had to go on hands and knees. Sarah King went with her. Dancing around there for the Pies and getting rid of a hurried hand pass there was the 25 and Tani Brown. And the umpire says you're pinned for holding a ball. Advantage quickly paid here for the Saints. The shot on goal looks pretty good. And celebrating with that one, I think it's the... What have you got there as the number, Julia?
It's DeAngelis.
Thank you. Thought I saw a 36, but it was 39. Just upside down, as Mr. Squiggle used to say. And the Saints now move out to 2-1-13. Collingwood just the one behind. And Toby Hansen, at the moment, for all of Collingwood's effort to try and hold on and partway through the quarter try and work their way back into it, the Saints have developed now a quick lead against them.
Yeah, it really is. It's definitely one-way traffic at the minute, Pete. But I just want to say, coming off that, again, coming off that half-forward line, the ball just rebounded straight back in the forward line. Collingwood are trying to pierce through that really strong middle setup from the Saints, but it's the Saints who are on top with a 2-goal lead at the moment.
Back in the middle we go. Another great tackle from the Southern Saints. This time it's Cormac that wraps their opponent up. Ball still hovering around in that centre square. No team could quite get free yet. Georgia Ricardo in there for the Pies. Had a great season last year, but it's Matuna that dumps it out. It's heading towards that boundary line. Colburn Veals pursuing her opponent. Able to get a hairball away just. Still pinballing. It's scrappy, but the Saints somehow get an exit and get forward. Can a mark be taken? Not quite. Good trap, but good tackle also by Katie Lee to hold things up.
So we'll try and restart the play again. Rucks will nominate themselves as they throw it up in the air. The umpire says holding in the ruck contest, and a little bit of how do you do being explained there at that same time by Matza, not happy with the attention that she was getting, and just telling the player, hey, get back on your mark. And she decides to go short, using Tani Brown out there on the half-back flank. Her kick is wide, way wide, and out of bounds on the full. And that means a free kick going the way of Rebecca Nees for the Southern Saints. She'll jump over, well, not quite jump over the fence, just walk through the fence, get the football, come back again. And she has it about 65 metres out from home. Decides to get going quickly. Sky high with the kick, deep in towards the forward line. Good punch coming through the air there from Amelia Peck. Ball is close towards the boundary line. It will go over and out now, and we'll have a throw in around about 30 metres from that right-hand point post for the Southern Saints, attacking towards the left-hand side of your screen.
So the ball will be thrown in now. Can the Southern Saints get a late goal and really shock Collingwood here at their home ground? Still inside their forward 50, but they can't get anywhere. Exxon wrapped up in the tackle straight away as soon as she got it. Back at it again. Ma tried her onto it. You said she'll get a few touches today, and that's a great one. Goes towards the city side, looking for Tani Brown. She's got a bit of work to do. Meets two Southern Saints players, in the tackle, and is gone. So gang tackle again by the Southern Saints. Their fitness is looking on in this game. They switch the ball to try and come back towards their forward 50. Trying to soccer it off the ground. Ma wrapped up in a tackle straight away. That pressure again from the Southern Saints has been trademark.
As we'll restart the play once again, 2-1-13 Collingwood. Southern Saints just the one behind. Thrown up in the air. Rapari's lurking on the outside of the contest. She can get in there. So is Jolliffe there for the Southern Saints. And the umpire says this is just resembling a rugby maul, so we'll call for a ball up. That's what we'll do. Throw it high in the air. Almost falcon the player on the way through. And the umpire off the ball has spotted a free kick and said it is going the way of the Pies. And they'll take an opportunity here to try and clear it off the half-back flank. On the city side of the ground, down by 12 points. Latter stages first term. Up the line. Bunker flying through the air. Knocked out of her hands. Trying to get in there, DiMatteo. burrowing away through there for the Pies and calling for a ball up. Now passing it back to the umpire, Rhiannon Bush. And the umpire restarts the play once more. Umpire says too high in the ruck contest. That's an infringement. It's going the way of Alexandra Hines for the Southern Saints. And reversal of the free kick. Didn't see what happened there, but it's now ending up with the Pies, and they'll have an opportunity to try and build something here from centre wing.
So Mats has got it. Kicks it along the outer side of the ground, but intercept mark taken by Ebony Nixon. She'll go for a short chip kick in ball. Didn't quite reach her player. Mara and Ricardo swarming. Now Neal able to pick it up. Not quite clearly. Still wants to try and keep it in and get that handball away. Boundary line lurking. She just dumps her player in a tackle. It was Bertuna who felt the effects of a strong Marla Neal tackle. So back in a position once again. The Pies get forward here through bunker. Sky high footy. Maloney's there. So too Di Matteo. Picks up the footy now. Tries to curl around her opponent. Kick smothered. Still there for the Pies, but the Siren's going to win out and beat them. It's quarter time, and it's Collingwood 0-1-1, trailing St Kilda 2-1-13 at their home ground. Goals in that quarter went to Olivia Flanagan and Gabby DeAngelis as well, Pete.
You might get John O'Ben to head out to the Pies huddle and have a listen in to what Chloe McMillan has to say. But Alan Matthews, look, it's only quarter time, but we're all raising our eyebrows here. The Collingwood side so dominant, undefeated last year as well, find themselves down early in the opening game of the season.
Yeah, they are at the present stage. St Kilda's leading to the ball majority of the time. The ruck duels have been very, very close. Either girls, both Sarahs are getting one knock one way and then the other, and it's not getting a clear break. The players around in the midfield there, as you said earlier, there's a bit of a crowd there. It's similar to under-9 football. They used to play when they go round to a pack. So what they've got to try and do as much as possible, break it clear. St Kilda's doing that, and that's where they've got the 2 goals or percentage going down to the forward line. They've had a little bit more open, and they've created the results as they've gone along.
Toby Hansen, who's some of the players that have been standing out to you first quarter in?
Well, I think it's hard to say. I think DeAngelis has really given us something to watch this morning. She got that goal that was fantastic. 8 touches from 6 from bunker as well as the... it's been one-way traffic, hasn't it, for the Saints this morning?
Indeed it has been. We might take this opportunity to take a break here at quarter time of the VFLW YouTube stream from the Wolf Radio commentary team. It is the Southern Saints 2-1-13. They are leading Collingwood 1 behind. We'll be back after this.
Feeling a little down? Drop into the Reach Out website at reachout.com.au and let us put a spring back in your step. When times are tough, clear your head at reachout.com.au.
There's jumpers, hoodies, and tees for you at leaguetees.com.au.
Leaguetees.com.au is your place for retro footy gear with designs created by local artists that you won't find anywhere else. Plus, their unique range of women's footy tees help raise funds for Indigenous literacy programs. Get online and start shopping today.
leaguetees.com.au.
If you're after the most comprehensive coverage on women's football across Australia, then look no further than Rookie Me Central. Formerly Draft Central, Rookie Me Central has news and reviews, podcasts, videos, and much, much more on all the state leagues across the country, including the VFL Women's and NAB League Girls. Find out why everyone turns to Rookie Me Central for their women's football content. Follow Rookie Me Central on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Rookie Me Central.
Storms are Australia's most costly natural disaster. Getting prepared now is the best way to protect people and to minimise damage to your property. Keep your gutters, downpipes and drains clear and stash any loose items in yards or on balconies. Trim any trees and branches hanging too close to your house and keep your roof in good repair. For emergency help, call the SES on 132 500.
came to clean and noticed there was no food in the house.
She told me her sister just forgot to pay a few bills.
He was in for his monthly trim when I noticed the bruising.
Is there anything I can do?
Thousands of older Australians experience elder abuse every year. If you're concerned about someone you know, you don't need to have all the answers. Call 1-800-ELDER-HELP for free confidential information and support.
It's the VFL Women's Match of the Day.
And welcome back to the VFL Women's Match of the Day here on VFLW YouTube stream. Normally on WharfRadio.com. We've unfortunately had some server issues today. Our radio call with pre-game show will be back on WharfRadio.com next week. Peter Holden, Julia Montesano, Toby Hansen, Alan Matthews and John O'Ven joining you here at Victoria Park in Abbotsford. And Julia, we're just looking at the around the ground scores there. The Hawks, of course, are one of those sides that are trying to build up like Essendon to get into the AFLW competition. And they've got a lead on North Melbourne in the game that started about half an hour before us, 32-13.
Yeah, I mean, the Hawks are probably a really smoky for me. They're a side to watch. I mean, I had an up and down year last year, but with a great coaching pedal behind them, a great selection of players and a big investment into women's footy, it's going to be a great year for them, I reckon.
And for Alan Matthews and Toby Hansen, let me throw you this stat at you, courtesy of Brent Sternberg. He goes, of the 1,120 minutes played last year, the Pies trailed for only 87 minutes and 11 seconds. So they were either level or ahead of their opponents for 92.3% of the home and away season.
I think they must have forgot about it last year. This year they haven't done it yet because they were behind all this quarter in the first quarter so far.
Let's go down boundary side. Listening in to what Chloe McMillan had to say with the Pies is John O'Ven.
Thanks, Pete. Just a couple of observations. A few things were written on a whiteboard. I'm not entirely sure what they mean, but one of the things that Chloe touched on was the lack of defensive pressure and how they managed to keep turning it over. Obviously, they're really feeling the heat, the Pies. A couple of players on the bench in the first quarter. One of them, of course, that really felt the heat was Sarah King, so it'd be interesting to see how she goes. There's also a player on the bench being checked out by the docs and just treated, did a few eye exercises, so it looks like she might have copped a knock. I'll have more to say on that later. Thanks, Pete.
Yeah, jump in when you've got the details of that. I'll see what's written on the whiteboard if I can. If I can make it out, I think it's pork and plum sauce with rice, $11.50. Singapore fried noodles, $10.
Actually, Pete, just on that, there was something about spice being mild, and that's not a joke. That's actually what I read on the board.
They are writing their lunch orders down there. To get us underway for the second quarter, here's Julia Montesano.
Bucks go at it again. Sarah King wins out this time. Marla Neal trying to bash her way through the contest. The umpire will stop things straight away. She was a bull for the Pies last year, Marla Neal. They've kept a lot of their side from last year, it must be said too. Here's King now getting it towards their forward 50, but an intercept mark taken by Nixon. She's got knees out on the broadcast side, but elects to switch. Heads to McCarthy. She's got knees again if she wants her, but elects to go a bit further up the field. Ends up being one out by Jackson, but she's wrapped up closely by Lay, and the umpire will stop proceedings right there.
You know, it's very easy to say with the Pies of, oh, they're going to hurt this year because no Imogen Barnett, of course, was drafted and, sensational year in the VFLW. But, of course, with the likes of Imogen Barnett, the ball wouldn't be getting down to her with how they've been playing so far.
Exactly right. Mara at the bottom of that tackle there. She's a leading disposal getter on the ground at the moment, had 8 to quarter time. She's back in the thick of things again. So too Sarah King. Free kick paid towards the Pies so they can enter forward 50 for the first time this quarter and perhaps get their first goal on the board. Jackson with it now. She's been promising early. Elizabeth Jackson getting plenty of the footy. Heads inboard now. Tall timber down there. Di Matteo at the back. So too Cowan. Now Tardy Brown spins one way then the other. Just kicks it high up and under around the body. Nixon back there for the Southern Saints gets dumped in a tackle. And she'll win a free kick for her efforts too.
Almost the kick over the shoulder job. Been watching too much Erin Phillips from the other week, I think. Getting the resulting free kick is Ebony Nixon. And Nixon goes wide with the kick through the hands there. Couldn't hang on to it is Kearns. Close towards the boundary line. They managed to keep it in play here, the Pies. Or maybe a little bit too high there from Jackie Boyd. Umpires missed that, and the umpire will now come in and call for a ball up. And we'll restart the play near the Pies half-forward line. Sarah King going to be doing the ruck work here for the Pies. And she got for a position on Sarah Black, but Black managed to get the ball out the back. Had it momentarily there for a second. Was Bachuna running on by. Close towards the boundary line. Hurry kicked the boundary umpires on the spot. No, it was the field umpire, in fact, who said that was holding, and that will be a free kick going the way of the Southern Saints on their back 50.
So just looking for an option now is Jolliffe, the captain this year. Plays on. The outer side again being used heavily this time. Katie Lee takes a safe mark. Intercepts things for the Southern Saves. They're yet to really make an influence past halfway. She sends it back to where it came from. Really aggressive play down there. A couple of players just dragged down. You can sense that this game means a lot more than a win to both these teams. Still hovering around on that outer side, and it eventually gets out of bounds for another stoppage.
Grace Matzer, the player from the Pies who was just on the bench, she's just undercover, just getting some shade at the moment and fluids in. Hopefully she'll be back out there soon.
I'm looking at the boundary line and Demi Hallett's blue hair there. And fair dinkum, I'm not sure if that's hair or fairy floss. That is bright blue. As the ball is thrown back into play, Sarah Black hits the ball to ground. Getting on the end of it, a little bit of juggling work there for Jackie Boyd. Had to get rid of it quickly, was going up the line. Couldn't hit her intended target. The Saints still managed to work it up towards the half-forward flank position. Is that chopping of the arms? Indeed it is. Free kick going the way of Katie Lee, and it was being paid against Amelia Peck. Lee decides to come in, but Nevo Connor had to juggle it, then got it, and then hurried with a long right boot up the line. Tony Brown had it, ran into trouble, got the hurried little hand pass away. Now trying to dance around and get a hand pass is Olivia Marr. Sold a teammate up the creek though, and Southern Saints will intercept it. I'll take one bounce. Now work it sideways. Rebecca Nees had to get going to Rapari. Now goes on a run on the right boot. Goes up towards the half-forward flank. And Alan Matthews, that was an ill-directed kick.
He's not wrong. There was a person on the wing who come off the bench, and twice the St Kilda people missed the call, missed the person running up on her own by 10, and the opposition got the ball then.
Collingwood just finding their way through the traffic. Still hovering around on this broadcast side. Eventually, kick comes toward the Southern Saints forward 50, but the Pies able to intercept once again. There's a wall back there. Sarah King's got to run onto it, push in the back. Pies free kick. Monique Di Matteo will take this one. Formerly of Essendon VFLW, of course, got a massive win against the Bulldogs yesterday. 96-0, I think the final score was.
98 zip.
98 zip.
Yep.
It's all about the Pies now as they enter inside 50. It's a nice kick there. Not quite the mark taken by Maloney. They'll keep it in there, but the Saints try to exit out. Mars there, we know how dangerous she can be, but great pickup and spin from Exxon. Gets it out to Ryan. Ryan wants to go inboard, but had to go backwards. McCarthy wasn't quite ready for it. Has to go back and pick it up again, and a lucky break for the Saints. They escaped that one. There's a 2-1 in favour of the Pies. And Lee can just go back and pick up the mess. Just has to get the handball outboard here. And now they'll switch to Jackson. She's got Hallett up ahead, so too Mar. Mar calling for it, goes to that little chip kick and finds her. Xander calling for it now. Who's up ahead? She goes a bit longer, wants to get deeper inside 50 if she can. Just hovering around in that centre square still. Saints can wrap it up, and eventually it does find its way out. Gang tackle, Maloney and Xander jump on their opponent, and the umpire will have enough of that and ball it up.
Let's get some thoughts on how the second quarter's been playing out so far from Toby Hansen.
Well, I just wanted to note on something. The wind started to pick up here at Vic Park, and there's something the Saints might have to worry about kicking down to that Sharon end as the wind swirls around coming out of the grandstand.
Debbie Hallett vicious in that tackle, but the Saints just managed to work it out, luckily, to Hannah Stewart, who kind of dribbles a kick forward past the centre squares. Now he's a little interesting toe poke, almost running past it as Winnie Lang goes back and gets it, pops it long inside 50. Two players were there, and they did not talk. That was Kearns and Peck. Ball they cry, and the Pies player is brought down. So they managed, though, on the second effort to keep it inside 50. And Taylor Kearns has the football. She is just outside the paint at the moment. The plane on the mark is 45 metres out, tighter than a 45-degree angle. As we see, kicking to that swirly Sharon stand end of the ground. In comes Taylor Kearns. An interesting little toe poker towards the pocket, was looking for someone to lead onto it. It was just an even foot race in the end. Couldn't get DeAngelis, and in fact managed to put out the Pies player in Elizabeth Jackson, who goes for a dangerous switch of play. Finds Nicole Hales. Hales with the football. Now goes with a little kick to find Rhiannon Bush. Bush now with the football. Gets on the right boot, staying wide with the kick. Works out okay. Bunker with the footy. Now goes up the line. Trying to find the player running onto it, and DiMatteo. DiMatteo with the football. Defensive side of centre wing, wants to go backwards. Now managing to spot up the player in Rhiannon Bush. From the Northern Territory, from the Southern District's Crocs, now goes up towards the centre wing position. Came off several sets of hands. Trying to work away at ground level was Batuna. Fired out a hand pass, wanted to release a player. Bunker came in to try and put on the brakes, but it's all Saints numbers here at the moment. The kick towards half forwards. Getting back there was Neve O'Connor. Had it. Her kick was smothered immediately off the boot. Ball hit the deck. Who's got clean hands to try and go in and pick up the football is the question. Hallett was lurking around. It was DeAngelis in the end. Kicks it inside 50. Almost a slips catch of a mark. And it's taken there by the Pies, and they'll relieve the pressure.
So Lee switches play. Heads back to Melody. A little bit of trouble now. Saints can push it forward here through Vaught. She's hanging around that boundary line. Jackson can't quite take her out, so it's still hovering around if they want it here. Able to pick it up was Hales. Jackson's going to be quick because Vaught's on her heels. And she wins the free kick. Great chase down tackle by Jackie Vaught. The former Melbourne Victory goalkeeper. She's used to stopping goals. Now she's got a chance to kick one. She's about 45 metres out from goal at a slight angle.
Alan, what would you aim for here?
With the little bit of the breeze, I believe, is flowing over to the left side of the goals, I would say go for the right-hand goalpost and let it drift in.
Let's see if she's listening, Alan. She comes in for a kick now. Slow on the approach now, gets a jog on. Looks pretty nice off the boot. Distance just fading. Players able to just tap it out of there, and Collingwood able to race out of their defensive 50 here through Ricardo. Now gets the hands back to Xander, who's going for a run. Gets it in ball to DiMatteo. Spilled it, but able to pick it up and spin. Wanted to get it to Neil. Has to try and trap it. Did it beautifully in the end, but got tackled. Umpire says play on. Ricardo traps that high ball beautifully. And she'll stop the momentum here for the Southern Saints. Just looking for an option on that outer side still. Finds one. It's all Saints. They're able to get it out of trouble only momentarily though. Xander didn't quite see it coming to her, but able to trap it. A few players downfield that she can go to, but dangerously switches play to Neil. Can't quite take the mark. Umpire's going to pay it to the Saints. And it was Rapari who took it on that occasion. Nearly could have been a 50 with that drop of the ball.
Yeah, they both jumped on it right at the same time. Carla Rapari, lucky to beat out Neil on that occasion, will get going on the right boot, long towards the half-forward position. Dropped, but managing to get it back again, Amelia Peck. Pumps it in long, and all of a sudden the ball has got out the back. Here's a chance for a run on an easy goal. Putting it through the middle is Natalie Exxon. One of the big-name signings for the Saints, coming down originally from the Brisbane Lions. Before that, of course, was at Carlton. And she now brings it out to is at 3-1-19 to just the one behind. And what is interesting as well, just quickly, Toby Hansen, I was just spotting, I saw Kate McCarthy come onto the field, a renowned forward. She was lining up deep in defence.
Yeah, she was. Well, she had a real quiet first quarter. I don't think she'd touched the ball, so trying to potentially get her into the game. But it was all Southern Saints there. It all set up from that 50-50 decision that, of course, went to their way from that 50-50 mark.
Alan Matthews.
There was a great knock from Voigt in front of Lang so she can get that goal. She ran on perfectly after that knockdown so she can get the for action from it, and she got the result for what they needed.
Back in the middle now. Pies looking to respond here. They're down by 18 at the moment. Can you believe it? We're nearly approaching half time. Xander just hacks it forward. Inside their forward 50 they go. They wrap up the Saints player in a gang tackle, and they'll trap it there momentarily. They really need to get a move on the Pies.
Team, some good news and bad news for Collingwood almost at the same time. Whilst you had Matzo coming on, it was Rowe who just came off the bench, chucked up all the Gatorade she had in her, really feeling the effects of the heat.
Oh dear. As the umpire, just don't step in it, Jono, when you're there on the boundary, mate. Just avoid that if you can.
I could smell it, Pete. There's no chance of that happening.
Jeez, that's what I need to know on a Sunday morning. Thank you. As the umpire will ask for the football back and ball it up inside the Pies forward 50, about 45 metres out from goal. And slapped around on that occasion. And the umpire said there's a holding infringement. Doing the original ruck work was Matza. And the Saints end up with the footy, and with it the number 42 and Jackie Voigt. Now, Jackie Voigt is going to work wide towards the boundary line. Lasso rule, ball over the boundary line and out of bounds without being touched. Nikki Cormack was trying to chase after it desperately, but it'll end up being a Pies ball. One thing I should note, all clubs have got the number on the front of the jumper, except Collingwood. I don't know what it is with the Pies. They don't have the number on the front of the jumper. Just to annoy us commentators. I'm sure it's the reason why.
Might just be a Nike thing, Pete.
They're doing that the point of view. It is a benefit, as we know, from a commentating point of view, but Collingwood are sticklers for, they don't want to change their jumper any which way. Senior men as well.
Sarah Black hitting towards the middle of the ground and a bit of ping-pong footy, and Black ended up getting it back again and went with a little dribble kick along the ground behind Kearns, who gave up the hand pass. Now they want to come in board, trying to use Nikki Cormack. Cormack got on the right boot, wants to go inside 50. Flying through the air was Winnie Lane, couldn't quite pull it down. She was being harassed by Rhiannon Bush, and the umpire blows the whistle and says, I'll ask for the football back. 50 metres out from the Southern Saints goal, going towards the Sharon Standan. 3-1-19, plays one behind. The Southern Saints leading the Pies here at Victoria Park. A little chip kick by Marlon Neal. It's like rugby style. Wanted to try and chase up the own kick. Flattened a player in Sultry on the way through. And umpire says that one is in the back. And it is a free kick going the way of... I think she pointed the wrong way. Yeah, she originally pointed to say it was a Southern Saints free kick and realised, no, it's actually a Collingwood free kick. And they'll end up with a footy. And Tony Brown elects to get going quickly. Takes on the person on the mark. Marlon Neal ran into all kinds of trouble. And very lucky... The umpire comes in and says no opportunity and asks for the football back. It's called looking two steps ahead there, Alan. Brown sent it straight to Neal and didn't realise Neal had three players around it.
Exactly right. He's trying to get the player going and whatever, but unfortunately the handball didn't come on the right spot.
Brown, speaking of handballs, gets one over to her teammate. Couldn't quite be on the same communication level, so it'll hover around this broadcast side. Laying in there for the Southern Saints, trying to just wrestle something out. Eventually it comes out to her. She'll get the kick down the line. It'll come towards Bush. Her opponent able to tap it out of her hands momentarily. Oh. Big, strong tackle by Rhiannon Bush. That's that Northern Territory nature we know. And the umpire will ball that one up. Nearly a high tackle as well.
It was a bit of a high tackle.
Yeah, certainly high, but either way, play on, ball up. Clever direction to tap. Bunker wrapped up her opponent. Maloney there for the Pies chasing after it. So too Jackson. Great pick up and spin.
That was better from Jackson.
She's had a great game so far, Alan.
At the moment, yes, he's defending well.
Still hovering there. No player can quite get free around that St Kilda interchange bench, and the umpire will eventually call for it and hold proceedings up. Kearns doing a good job in the ruck for the Southern Saints. So too Matza coming across from the Gippsland Power. Still on that Gippsland Power list too, Grace Matza, so perhaps could suit up for some games in the NAB League too. Back at it once again. She gets the tap away this time. Clean clearance there from the Southern Saints. Bush able to get the hands away to Ma. They're on here, the Pies, if they can find a clean option. But Ma kicks to a 2-on-1, flies over the Southern Saints' heads. But Neves eventually able to get it out. And Ma just down behind play. We'll get John O'Van to check up on that.
Got some hands in the face.
Sure, she's a tough cookie. I'm sure she'll get up straight away as the Saints trying to move it around through Nixon. Trying to get it forward. But it's going to bounce straight to Hale. She's in trouble. Got to get the hands away to Jackson. Good pressure applied here by the Southern Saints. The Pies just can't get an option free at the moment. Eventually, Hales wrestles it out. Gets it in the way of Cowan. And now a couple of hands come through. Umpire blows his whistle and picks out a free kick to the way of the Pies.
I think some of the Pies girls are turning around backwards in the point of view of mixing up the handball there at times. They're going forward and then doing a 360 and getting caught into the trouble.
You love to see it as well when, you know, a player gets checked on by the trainers, as was the case with Olivia Marsh. She just says, you know what, I'm right, and gets involved with the contest almost straight away, just runs after it.
Here's the kick from the Pies to go straight down the central corridor. Working the position well there was Pedersen. Gained about 15 metres in the end. The pack trying emerges out of it. Batuna now for the Saints. Batuna on the right boot goes long and high with the kick. Managing to stick in the hands there of Kearns, who had trouble coming from behind in Jackson. Kearns comes in board for the Southern Saints. Taking the mark now is Cormac. Cormac on the right boot, had a runner out there, and that was Rebecca Nees, who overran the football, went to ground. Umpire said, copped it high, and we'll get a resulting free kick. Rebecca Nees with the football, 60 to 65 metres out from home, half forward. Now gets on the right boot, delivers inside 50. Couldn't quite hit the intended target. Oh, just a little bit of juggling going on there by Hannah Stewart. Tried to stop the Pies opponent on the way through. Couldn't do so. And the Magpies will come out of defence, and getting dumped behind play afterwards, if you don't mind for that, was Xander. She got her kick away. Here comes Kate McCarthy, who's pushed up the ground. She got on the right boot kick, tried to find Rapari. Picked up by DeAngelis instead, who kicked around the corner, set it up high in the pocket. Rapari comes through to lay the forward pressure. Creates a handball that just spills into open space. DeAngelis, did she get tripped up on the way through? She did, according to the umpire off the ball. And she will get a resulting free kick from about 45 metres out from goal. Let's get some impressions from Toby Hansen.
Yeah, well, it's all been the Saints again. Collingwood, they just can't pierce through that centre of the ground. They've been run out by the Southern Saints coming across that wing. They've played a lot more on the broadcast side this term, but it hasn't resulted in a score yet for the Pies as the Saints look to get another one here.
DeAngelis does the big wind up, runs past the player on the mark. It's flat, it's low, it's away to the right, and it ping-ponged around before going through for a minus score. Ignored the call of Kate McCarthy on the side saying, I'm open. Went for it and just couldn't quite get the distance. So that's 3-2-20, if we're correct, to one behind. Southern Saints leading the Pies. And remind you, the Pies went all through last year, Julia, undefeated.
It's an unbelievable result so far. Upset brewing here at Victoria Park. Pies trailing the Saints by 19 points as we creep towards half-time. Perhaps one last roll of the dice here for the Southern Saints. DeAngelis, of course, dangerous, but they won't even have time for that. And they've had a dominant first half, the Southern Saints, upsetting the home side on their home turf. It's 3-2-20. The Pies are 0-1-1. Goal kickers are Flanagan, DeAngelis, and Exxon. Only one goal, one behind in that quarter. Collingwood didn't even score. It's an amazing result brewing so far at Victoria Park, Pete.
Indeed it is, and I guess the amazing thing is, Alan and Toby, we're talking about a Pies side that in reality hasn't changed too much. Okay, there's a couple of AFLW players that were missing that were in their side in the later part of the year. Jennifer Guy went to North Melbourne, and as we said, Imogen Barnett not in the side. But the actual core, the players that played week in, week out, when we look at Marlon Neal, Caitlin Bunker, Matilda Zander, Abby Maloney, and so on, they've been a core part of their side through last year, and some of them for a number of years, and to find that they're just struggling to get their mojo going against the Southern Saints.
Well, a lot of it, as I said earlier in that first quarter, they were behind all the time, hesitating or seemed to be hesitating. That quarter was a hell of a lot better for them. Maybe the breeze was helping them a little fraction, but they did open up a little bit. But then the second half of that quarter, St Kilda come in, they opened up, they got the results, and that's where that great goal, as I said earlier, with Vogue coming into the answers with that knock into the front of the pack, and then running on and delivered well.
Toby, that seems to be the theme from round one, that what we're seeing so far, the sides that are getting the big wins are those that can open up earlier in the game. We saw it yesterday with Essendon versus the Western Bulldogs, who, to be fair, the Bulldogs were playing short-handed, and they managed to open up and just blitz them. Geelong did it against Carlton yesterday as well. Looks like the Hawks were doing it against North Melbourne, and here with the Southern Saints, once they've started to open up and dominate, I can't see at this moment Collingwood trying to find a way back into this match.
Yeah, well, not only is it coming off the wings in that half-back line, as you were saying, they're dominating in the ruck as well. Sarah Black's had double the amount of hit-outs as her Collingwood counterpart. But also, I just want to say that Collingwood off that back line hasn't all been doom and gloom. They found a star in Jackson there out of the back pocket. I think O'Connor at full-back and centre half-back has been their number one down there. But yeah, they just can't pierce through that really well-structured Southern Saints side.
Julia Montesano, they've got the VFL app out there. We might first of all get from you a score from the Hawks and North Melbourne.
Yeah, sure. It's 63-13 in the way of the Hawks, so it's really opened up for them as well. Kendall has 3 goals, and Christy Stratton as well with a couple to her name. So a big game, a big result brewing over there at Arden Street. And I guess some ball winners for today game. Grace Bucket is now leading the way in disposals with 14. Jackson is 12, as you mentioned, Toby. She's been fantastic in that back line. Hales and Marr with 11 apiece. And leading the tackle count so far is Jackie Vaught with 6, and she's got 7 touches to go with it as well. So nearly as many tackles as touches.
Goal kickers at half-time look like this. Singles to Olivia Flanagan, Gabriella DeAngelis and Natalie Exon. It is the Southern Saints 3-2-20 leading Collingwood, 1 behind. We'll take this break at half-time on the VFLW YouTube stream. Back after this.
Hey. Hi.
Yo, what's up? We're here for Rad. Here's a simple word of advice.
Don't drink and drive.
If you plan to drink, plan ahead.
Give up the keys.
Either drink or drive. Don't mess around trying to do both.
When you drink and drive, you're risking the life of yourself and the lives of everybody on the road.
It takes a lot of courage to convince a friend not to drive after they've been drinking, but you might just be saving their life.
So if you plan to drink, plan not to drive.
Even when everything is going great, the black dog of depression can sneak up on you. You're not alone. 1 in 7 Australians are feeling just like you. But there is hope available. The Black Dog Institute provides information on diagnosis, treatment and prevention of mental illnesses like depression, bipolar disorder and anxiety. If the Black Dog is hounding you, visit blackdoginstitute.org.au for real help and support. Black Dog Institute, putting health in mind.
Been playing for a while, sweet kicks, 'cause footy makes you smile. Sweet Kicks football. If you're getting ready for the trials, gotta go the extra mile. Sweet Kicks football.
Not always hearing that sweet sound when you kick the ball? Need to develop your footwork or explosive speed? Want to take the next step in your footy career? Then you need Sweet Kicks. More info on our Facebook page or go to our website, sweetkicksfootballacademy.com.au.
Gotta go the extra mile. Sweet Kicks football.
G'day, I'm Michael Caton. The Australian Conservation Foundation's Green Home program is all about saving our environment. A low-flow shower head will save 10 litres. No showering at all will save 20. So when any of my active friends are a bit on the nose, I never judge them, but thank them for doing their bit to save water.
For more information, go to www.acfonline.org.au/greenhome and take action for our future generations. That's acfonline.org.au/greenhome.
We'd like to show you what's dangerous about Australian rivers, but we can't. You can't see ice-cold water, snags like tree branches or strong currents, but they can be lethal. Although our rivers are beautiful, more Australians drown here than anywhere else. So please, wear a life jacket, avoid alcohol around water, never swim alone, and learn how to save a life. It's simple. Respect the river. For more information, visit royallifesaving.com.au/respect the river.
No matter what your age, most of us played sport when we were young, and there was always one thing that made you want to disappear into the corner or even give up your chosen sport. And that was when somebody on the sideline hurled abuse at either you or a teammate or an official. These are things that make sport so painful for so many kids, and the time has come to stop it. I'm Usman Khawaja from the Australian cricket team. My message is a simple one. Let kids be kids. Let them enjoy their sport. Find out more at playbytherules.net.au.
If you're after the most comprehensive coverage on women's football across Australia, then look no further than Rookie Me Central. Formerly Draft Central, Rookie Me Central has news and reviews, podcasts, videos, and much, much more on all the state leagues across the country, including the VFL Women's and NAB League Girls. Find out why everyone turns to Rookie Me Central for their women's football content. Follow Rookie Me Central on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at Rookie Me Central.
We are the Australian Literacy and Numeracy Foundation, striving to empower our most marginalised communities through literacy and education. Literacy is having a voice. Literacy is opportunity. Literacy is dreaming big. Literacy is freedom. Today, you can help end inequality and give every child access to our life-changing and proven literacy programs. Your support is vital. Donate now at alnf.org.
If you've had something stolen,
or if you've had property damaged, you need the police, not the sirens. If you've lost something or found something valuable,
or if you want to register a party or let us know you're going away on holiday, you need the police, not the sirens.
When you need the police, but not the sirens, you can now report these incidents online at police.vic.gov.au or call 131 444.
Authorised by the Victorian Government, Melbourne.
Life can be really tough when you or a close family member has cancer. But if you're 12 to 25, Canteen's in your corner. Canteen provides whatever practical and emotional support you need, from connecting you with other young people who get what you're going through, to helping you develop new skills to cope, and just bringing back some fun into your world. So if cancer's messing with your life, check out canteen.org.au. And remember, Canteen's in your corner.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Lowe, long jump gold medalist and world record holder. When I was 15, I was waiting to catch my train. In a split second, my life changed. As the train arrived, the crowd surged forward. I was too close to the platform edge, lost my balance, and fell into the path of the oncoming train. I was in a coma for 2 weeks, and it took 2 years to walk again. So please, stand back, look up, and stay rail safe.
Could you recognise if one of your friends or family was having a stroke? Think fast.
F. Face.
Check their face. Has their mouth drooped?
A. Arms.
Can they lift both arms?
S. Speech.
Is their speech slurred or confused?
T. Time.
Don't wait. Call 000 now. Think fast. Act fast.
A message from the National Stroke Foundation.
We're at a party. 3 little kids were playing in the pool, all under 5. Adults were busy talking, glanced over, noticed the little one underwater. I think she needs help. That's how easily something can happen. It only takes a few seconds. Don't worry, the party had a happy ending. But we need to remember, fence the pool, shut the gate. Teach your kids to swim, it's great. Supervise, watch your mate, and learn how to resuscitate. I'm Laurie Lawrence. Kids Alive, do the 5.
It's the VFL Women's Match of the Day.
Indeed, it is the VFL Women's Match of the Day here on YouTube with a call from the Wharf Radio commentary team. Peter Holden, Julia Montesano, Toby Hansen, Alan Matthews and Jono Van with you. And just to add a little side note as well, normally you get a radio feed of the game as well, including a 1-hour pre-game show via warfradio.com. Unfortunately, we've had issues with our server over the weekend. Put it simply, we're getting rid of that server now because we haven't been able to contact their tech support to fix our issue. We should have a new server and everything ready to go for next week. So apologies, because we normally like to do a full 1-hour pre-game show and talk about all the issues affecting the VFLW and the AFLW. And of course, don't forget to go to WRFradio.com during the week, where we'll tell you what next week's games are once the fixture is confirmed by the VFL, simply because they are being guided by the rolling AFLW fixture at the moment. Hope that all made sense for you at home. And so talking about issues and plenty of issues, of course, Julio, as we know for the Saints, plenty of players trying to get back into the AFLW side, trying to prove a point, particularly with a side that, frankly, has struggled this year. Yes, there was a big gap because of COVID knocking out some of the games, but with the Saints at AFLW level sitting last on the ladder at the moment, I would suggest spots would be certainly up for grabs.
Yeah, for sure, and obviously 3 AFLW players trying to get back into that side today: Jackie Vott, Nat Exon and Kate McCarthy. We saw Kate McCarthy, traditionally a forward in the AFLW. She's moved into the back line to start off this game, or in the second quarter, I should say. Provided a bit of run, but she's still only at 3 touches, so she's got to get involved more. That's probably why the position change was enacted in that quarter. And then Exon and Vott each have 7 touches apiece. So they are, Exon and Vott in particular, are showing positive sides. Exon's also got a goal, but it's McCarthy that's the one that's probably going to step up a bit more leading into the second half.
And dare I say, at AFLW level, regardless of the result today for the Brisbane Lions and St Kilda, it will be a 13th versus 14th battle next week, Carlton and the Saints.
Yeah, it will be. It hurts me as a Carlton fan to see the side so low. But yeah, it's an interesting season in AFLW. I'm sure a lot of predictions went out the window as soon as the season started. I mean, a lot of teams are surprising us, a lot of teams are upsetting us, but yeah, Carlton and St Kilda, it actually should be a pretty good clash. Despite the positions of the ladder, both teams are definitely fighting for that illustrious win.
And Alan Matthews, here's a little fact that so far in the AFLW, for the side that finishes last, their coach has not returned the next season. So that really is a hot seat game.
Is that after a couple of seasons or just one?
Well, first of
all,
you've got in 2017, Tim Schmidt, coached GWS, didn't return the next season. Then who finished last in 2018? It was Carlton, I think. He was last in that year. Damien Keeping, after his second season, did not return. Then in 2019, I'm trying to think who finished last. Was that Geelong? Was that the one where Geelong finished, then Paul Cood was out the door?
I think it might have been, yeah.
Yeah, and then last year, another coach who finished last, David Lake at the Gold Coast Suns, he was out the door after 2 seasons. So it's the hot seat. If you finish last in the AFLW, despite the short season as it is, don't come back next year.
Yeah, it's difficult from their point of view. We know that everyone likes to have a win the game and whatever, and if they're down the bottom of the ladder, they are struggling generally in that way. So the coaches are generally the first one to get the heave-o, generally over any coaching point of view. It is not performing in there. Okay, got to look for someone else.
And to be fair, it's a lot harsher than the AFL, where okay, if you've had a losing record, you've had a losing record over 22 games. Particularly for some of the early coaches, you had a losing record over 7 games. That's pretty cruel. Where in an AFL season, you could lose your first 7 games, but still salvage your season.
Exactly right. That's the way it goes. And yeah, it's the same with everyone from the point of view, any football code or whatever it is. Unfortunately, the coaches are the first one generally to go. We know the players they've got to rely on what they've got. Their cattle that are on the park. You've got to wait on those type of players who can develop and not develop. And as I say, unfortunately, the coaches are the first to get the chop.
Well, let's see if it's warming up. It's around about 11 o'clock in the morning. John O'Ven down there on the boundary line. What are the conditions and temperature like at the moment?
Yes, Pete, just a bit of a slight swirling wind as the temperature goes up to 27 degrees. It's only going to go up from here maybe towards, I reckon, 30 by the end of the game. So, look, it's just a matter of who handles the conditions better, and at the moment, it's the Southern Saints.
Not quite pina colada weather, because there is a breeze about which would knock the umbrella out of your drink, but maybe enough for a quiet frothy or two. Well, we've got the Pies already in position. Now we're waiting for the Southern Saints. Julia Montesano, how's things going, by the way, at Arden Street Oval for North Melbourne and Hawthorn?
Yeah, so 2 minutes into the last term, and it's Hawthorn 10-10-70, North Melbourne a 2-1-13, so a big game there. And Tegan Cunningham leading the way with 17 touches and a goal to her name, as well as 10 hitouts too. She's having a really good all-round game.
And also, just very quickly, for those that might have missed the Saturday results, we already know about Essendon 98 walloping the Western Bulldogs. But just a quick check of those other scores.
Yeah, so Casey by 10 over Port Melbourne, Darebin by 3 points over Williamstown, and Essendon by 98 over the Bulldogs. And then lastly, Geelong rounding things out, 73-14 winners over the Blues.
What was the most amazing about the Darebin-Williamstown game was Williamstown led at quarter time, 5-2-32 to 0, and would only score 2 more behind for the remainder of the match and be knocked off by Darebin.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's certainly going to be a VFLW season with lots of twists and turns, as we're seeing in this game now. It's currently the Southern Saints leading by 19. Start of the second half here. 2 rucks go at it. Collingwood just trying to get a goal on the board. Of course, undefeated last year. Marla Neal wraps up her opponent in a tackle straight away. And this time the Pies heading the way of the Sharon stand. They'll go up at it once again, the rucks. Mar lurking. Pies player dumped in a tackle. Umpire says play on. Still pinballing around that centre square. You sense the conditions are starting to get to these players, Toby.
Yeah, definitely. They've come out upbeat, but definitely looking very tired. And that back end of that last turn, a couple of players just jogging off the field, not the usual sprint.
And the short little kick there works out okay from Hales. Now they go towards the half-forward flank position. Who's going to be out to try and meet it first? Pedersen was out there in the race, trying to keep it alive there for the Pies. Knocked it about 25 metres inside 50, right up against the boundary line. Calling for it and lurking around is Di Matteo. Couldn't quite get there. Saints now with the ball. Kick it long out of the fence. They were originally trying to find the intended target of Ebony Nixon. Up against the boundary line. Manages to fire out the quick little hand pass. Then the one-step boot and kick up the line. Managing to spot up Taylor Kearns. Kearns takes the mark on centre wing. Kearns slows things down, tries to wait for her players to push forward. City side of the ground as Kearns pumps it high in the air, looking for, looks like number 60 there, Natalie Exxon. Ball got punched away from her and went over the boundary line and out of bounds. We will call for a ball in about 65 metres out from the Saints goal.
I think that breeze has taken it over that side to get a little bit stronger at the moment.
You can see the trees rustling in the background if you stream on YouTube. It's getting a bit windy here. Mar at the bottom of that contest tries to feed it out, kick off the ground, heads towards the Southern Saints forward 50, but Hales picks up, spins, goes for a high up and under. Marla Neal couldn't quite bring down the mark. Saints through a few handballs. Now Vaught kicks inside forward 50, just into space of territory. There's a couple of Pies to meet it. Katie Lee did really well. Kicks it right out of danger, but intercept mark taken there by the Saints. And they'll send it back straight to where it came from.
Hines with the footy. Decides to take on the player on the mark. Drew towards her, then gave up the hand pass. Long kick inside 50 is going to be intercepted. I think it might be Xander getting back there to take the mark on the half-back flank. Almost up against the boundary line, City side of the ground. Umpire gives the hurry up. And kicks it up the line, and one bounce, and will it go over? No, it was kept in the end, was it? By Lang, who let it hit her and then over the boundary line. I think she was originally in two minds of, do I let it go out and get the lasso rule, or do I try and pick it up? And in the end, the umpire says, because it hit you, then went over, we have to throw it back in. Sarah Black brought the ball to ground. Jackson got spun around, but got the hand pass out. Getting the hurry kick away there was Olivia Marr. Towards centre half forward, now it's centre half back for that is Gentile for the Saints, who got it out towards the wing position. The kick up the line, wanting a player to run onto it, and Sarah Black. Black went wide with the kick. There was absolutely nothing on. And Neve O'Connor with the Instagram handle Long Noodle takes the mark at the half back flank.
We love a good creative Instagram handle here at Wharf Radio. Vaught takes the intercept mark. Of course, known for stopping goals in the A-League Women's Comp. Marla Neal. Bit of back and forth. She'll look to try and switch play here. Goes back to Hales, and Hales sees an option in Lee. It'll come to her now. She's got Bush wide if she wants to keep going, and she does. Good passage of play here from the Pies. Emmond with the short kick, lands on her chest. They come towards the broadcast side now. Ricardo calling for it, but goes a bit further, breaks that line. Brown just couldn't quite trap the handle or get the ball. Now faces a gag tackle against the Southern Saints. Somehow gets the handball out. Bunker in the middle there, just trying to feed it out of that contest, but the Saints are not letting up. Still leading this one by 19.
Talk about great Instagram handles. Robert Quoker, who plays for the Sacramento Suns in the USAFL, has the Instagram handle Quoker-Cola.
Yes.
Absolutely brilliant. Now trying to fight the way through there was Tani Brown with a don't argue. Umpires come in there and said there's a bit of a throw in that contest, and that will be a resulting free kick going the way of the Saints. Originally picking it up was Jolliffe and was told, no, you must give it to your teammate. You're going to have a resulting free kick. And I think it's Anna Stewart that's got it. He's just looking around for some options. Elects to go with the handball after hearing the voice of Kate McCarthy. McCarthy's kick, a bit of a shank, and it is intercepted in the end by Sarah King. The King, who I had the privilege of chatting to at the season launch on Monday, told me her nickname's supposed to be Kingy, but Shani Norton misheard it and called her Kitty. Kicks it if the hand pass off, and the Pies had kicked long towards the half-forward flank, now half-back flank. And trying to pick it up there was Ryan, Charlotte Ryan, lost control of it, ball hit the ground. Watching on there is Batuna, and the umpire will ask for the football back. Getting up there, and just a little bit of a hobble on Monique DiMatteo, just trying to run it off. We throw it up in the air again. King tapped it straight down the throat there of Olivia Marr. Goes inside 50, only for it to be intercepted by Ebony Nixon. And Nixon outside a defensive 50 now with that long left boot kick. Was trying to spot up Nat Exxon, went through her hands. Exxon chasing after the football. Nicole Hales going with her. Ends up laying the tackle on Hales, and the umpire will come running on in and will call for a ball up. Let's get some thoughts from Alan Matthews.
At the present stage, it's fairly even on both sides. Collingwood tried to break open on the stand side then, and unfortunately it got blocked by a number of Saints defenders. But St Kilda at the present stage is the only one again in that quarter over there. Looking forward to having the players in front, and that's helping them deliver the ball down the forward line. But unfortunately, they haven't capitalised yet.
Speaking of delivering the ball, a crowd member delivers it to Winnie Lang, who can now look to kick it down the outer side, down the line, and get the Saints back in their forward line. No score yet in this third term from both sides. Collingwood looking to change that, but it's an errant handball. Vaught gets around one, can't get around another. Umpire says play on, no. Eventually says you're gone. And Katie Lee will take that free kick. She's been really solid in the back line, Katie Lee. Could have been a lot worse if she wasn't there. Now kicks it in the corridor direction, and Buchan nearly took that mark, but brought down in the tackle. She's having a great game so far, Grace Buchan, playing against her former team as well.
So 3-2-20 to 1 behind. Southern Saints leading the Magpies here at Victoria Park. Overrunning the football there, Charlotte Ryan, putting a bump on. Waiting out the side there was Corbin Veal. Will come out to her now. She wants to come in and try and get involved in that tackle as the ball hit the deck. Hallett with the blue hair, laying it on Nixon, and the umpire will ask for the football back. Once again, it's going to be Sarah Black going up in the ruck there for the Southern Saints. Hallett second to the ball. Jackson tried to bump through. Nixon is there for the Southern Saints, and the umpire will ask for the football back. We're now inside the 50. Umpire says, I'll take the footy back, please, and throw it high in the air. Away we go again. King wins out, tries to put it into space for a player to run onto. Good bump put on. Hallett comes in with the wheel clamp. And Batuna is going nowhere, and once again we'll call for a ball up and get some thoughts from Toby Hansen.
Yeah, well, it's a game of two defences at the moment, Pete. We're just seeing this ball pinballing between two half-back lines is thrown up at centre half forward. And yeah, in this opening 8 minutes, we haven't really seen the ball leave the two, get deep in, but Collingwood seem to have gone to a different level this quarter, perhaps St Kilda a bit tired in this third term.
Nixon, nice kick to the outer side. And now the Saints are going to move on towards their forward 50 and perhaps get some of their momentum back. But the kick just falls errant, and it'll be a lasso in the way of the Pies. Still trapped on that outer side. Deep in defensive 50. Looks like it's Colburn Veal with it. Kicks towards her teammate, just dropped out of her hands. Now Saints get wrapped up in a tackle right at the bottom of it all. Umpire's going to say you didn't make an attempt, and a free kick will go the way of Collingwood. So chance for some players to sprint out. Maloney providing an option. Goes in that direction. Can't quite get the hands away. She's met by a quartet of Southern Saints, and eventually they whip the ball out. Just flies through hands. Hallett trying to get a tackle to her name. I still love that fairy floss blue hair. I mean, that is great. If you can pull off a hairstyle like that, you're doing wonders in the world. She's back in the contest again. Laying a tackle on her opponent. Neil also in there too. It's been a fierce game of tackling, physicality. Both teams just struggling to get it forward. And time, it must be said, is running out for the Pies. We know how quickly a game of footy can go, but with the way that this game's been going, Pies might struggle.
I suppose if you were the Southern Saints that game at Whitten Oval, or the Gold Coast Suns that game at Whitten Oval, who just put the foot down and just said, thank you, here's a few goals and we'll just steal it at the end. I
think 5 goals in that last term.
As the ball is now close towards the boundary line, 50-metre arc share and stand side of the ground. Coming in to go on the tackle is Colbin Veal. Play gets spun around, dropped. Pies now going towards their forward pocket for King. King manages to squeeze the football out somehow. Neil tried to get it back to King, and it got knocked out of her hands and went over the boundary line and out of bounds.
Pies seem to be feeling the pinch a bit on the injury front with the likes of Monique DiMatteo being checked out by the physio. Looks to have done an ankle, but looks like she's all right. She's ready to come back on, and that she does. Also, Ebony Rowe might come on as well.
I just rolled it, or maybe got a bit of cramp as the ball now finds itself on the defensive 50 arc for the Southern Saints. They try and keep the ball knocked along the ground. Flanagan was chasing up and trying to pick up her own football. Did so in the end, went back to Nixon. Nixon went out towards the centre wing position. Awkward bouncing ball. Pies had it momentarily through Coward, who gave up the hand pass, but it wasn't all that flash, and it just ended up sending them through a chain of handballs backwards about 30 metres. Lee now for the Pies will kick it towards their centre half forward position on the edge of the centre square. Maloney did the roving work. Maloney ran to 48 metres out. Maloney going in the King direction. The ball's a little bit flat and a little bit short, and it's going to be taken away by Gentile with plenty of space to run with. Kicks the ball. It will bounce towards the boundary line. If it goes out without being touched, it is a lasso, but it doesn't matter. It's picked up in the end by Tardy Brown of the Pies, who tries to square it up to Cowan, who got a fair old shove as she marked it. Cowan with the footy, forward of centre wing, city side of the ground. Cowan looking around for some options. Who's her lead? That's the question. No tools to go to really at centre half forward, so the ball will come off hands. And the Saints were thinking about using the central corridor when McCarthy was coming through, but the ball didn't quite get to her. Umpire now blows the whistle, the umpire off the ball, and says that's a free kick going the way of the Southern Saints, so there's your get out of jail free card.
Winnie Lang with the footy now. McCarthy calling for it on the broadcast side. She goes in that direction, but just a little bit past her head. Ricardo now able to intercept, kicks it back inside forward 50 for the Pies. 2 players free. Maloney able to rove, run onto it and kick a goal. Maloney gets on the board, and the Pies are finally on the board in this game. They're now 1-1-7, still trailing the Saints 3-2-20. Abby Maloney has been playing a great game and finally gets a reward.
It was better from the point of view of the Collingwood people. They had the 4 light open, and when they got an opportunity and got it out there, got a clear run, and then was able to put the ball in front of Maloney and shepherd it off by the other one there, and they capitalised on with a goal.
3-2-20 the Southern Saints, 1-1-7 Collingwood and Toby Hanson. It gives a little bit of life now for the Pies.
It absolutely does, and if there was a Collingwood player that deserved that goal, it was Abby Maloney. She almost kicked that one 2 or 3 minutes ago and just opened up for a lovely, and they look really good once that space opens up in front of them. Collingwood all day, and they just finally pierced the Southern Saints back 6.
As we wait for the umpire to throw the football up in the air, and away we go again as we reset the play. King doing the ruck work once again for the Pies. Picked off though by the Saints with Jackie Voigt to go for the hand pass off. Then a long kick looking for Rapari. Went over her head. I think Nicole Hales is trying to get back there for the Pies. Bumped off it by Rapari. Rapari turned her inside out. Then kicks it towards the hot spot. 35 metres out from goal. Good strong grab taken back there. And I think that's Katie Lee that might have got back there and taken the mark for the Pies. Just when you thought, oh no, the Saints were going to reply in a hurry, Collingwood hold on in defence. the kick long in the direction of Bunker. Ball's bouncing away from her, and it went over the boundary line and out of bounds, coming off hands, which means it'll be throw in, no lasso rule, and we'll reset the play between centre wing and the half-forward flank for the Southern Saints.
Sarah King just pointing some fingers. Collingwood want to get a move on here as the three-quarter time siren approaches. The wind takes that throw in towards Collingwood side of the ground, but they can't get some clean hands, and the Saints will win a high free kick as a result. In the hands of Rapari. Sorry, not Rapari. It was in fact Hannah Stewart. She'll go down the outer side, but a lasso free kick will result. And Nicole Hales will be able to take that for the Pies. Of course, Nicole Hales from Diamond Creek, a footy factory down there. Good to see a lot of local clubs getting some recognition at the VFLW level. She goes down the outer side. Kicks towards space. No one came at it in particular. Bucker did for the Saints though. Now able to get it back. A couple of quick handballs and they eventually end up in their forward line. Not quite. Collingwood able to wrestle it back. Get it towards their side of the ground. Space here for Di Matteo. Couldn't quite take the mark. Has to be careful. Brown was on her back. Vaught. Long kick inside 50. There's a couple of players there. And this time it's Peck that stands tall. Goes in towards the hot spot. A couple of players fly for the footy, including Katie Lee, who's brought down on a brilliant tackle. And the umpire rewards that one. Great tackle there by Nikki Cormack. And she'll have a shot at goal pretty much directly in front. Great pressure by the Southern Saints and by Nikki Cormack.
Yeah, great tackle.
From South Belgrave, and spent some time with Hawthorn in the AFLW too. Comes in for a kick now. And makes no mistake, the Saints with the instant response. They get themselves up to 4-2-26. The Pies are stuck on 1-1-7. Great kick by Nikki Cormack to get that one through.
Yeah, she kept it low so the breeze wouldn't take it away a bit. So it was a good kick from that position.
Also some thoughts from Toby Hansen.
It just shows how strong the Saints are. An instant reply. And they really made Collingwood run themselves into trouble as they go to switch across the face of the goals. And it was a poor kick and it was a poor hands-off indeed that was pinged for holding the ball.
4-2-26 to 1-1-7. The Southern Saints leading Collingwood, who had dubbed the minor premiers last year, went through the season undefeated, and of course didn't get that chance to play against Geelong in the grand final when it was called off due to the COVID lockdown. As we have the ball back in the middle of the ground, umpire throws it high in the air. Matza wins it down for the Pies. Hurry kick straight out in the middle by Bunker. Now towards what will now be the half back flank for the Saints. And here goes Kate McCarthy, who puts on a burst of speed, looking for Rapari. Beautiful kick, but it just bounced off her chest. She couldn't quite pull it in. Hallett was creating some pressure there for the Pies. We're on the centre wing, city side of the ground. Rapari went to ground. Going through there is DeAngelis. Fired a hand pass back while under pressure. Knees was in there, but her kick was smothered straight off the boot. Umpire comes in, says going nowhere. No, free kick.
Pushing the back.
And it's going the way of Kate McCarthy, known by alter ego as Chatty Caffey. Kate McCarthy with the football, gets on the right boot, goes long and high through the air. Katie Lee had it momentarily. She was juggling it while trying to steal it from Kearns. And the umpire blows the whistle and says it has gone. Now, did it go over the boundary line and out of bounds, or did it accidentally come off a boot? And therefore,
I think there's a free kick there.
Yeah, he's paid it. I think what may have happened, because he chatted to the boundary umpire, it may have just come off almost the shoelaces of one player and of a Saint, so therefore it resulted in a free kick for Katie Lee of the Pies.
So Lee had a really great day down in defence. Needs to get it up forward now. The Pies need to bite back quickly. They're still going to use that outer side. A lot of traffic around there, so no one can quite get the handball, but the umpire spots a free kick. Good news for Collingwood, it's for them. It'll be Jackson that takes it, and she wins a 50 as well to go with it. So big chance here for the Pies to kick 2 goals in the quarter for the first time today. Who's forward now? A couple of players running back. Ricardo in the goal square. Di Matteo there too. Ricardo makes an early lead.
Smothered on the boot.
Ends up kicking it high and long. The Saints just pop it out of there momentarily, and McCarthy puts on the burners, takes a bounce, has to go against Bush, then eventually gets the kick away. goes straight in the direction of the Pies wall back there. Xander gets it back to where it came from and straight in the hands of Abby Maloney, who could go back for her second goal of the term.
And the great thing to watch there, Alan, is that Kate McCarthy keep the cam off the side of the boot. The reason is you don't necessarily need to tackle someone to affect the kick. Just that little nudge at the last minute just put McCarthy off step.
And that's what happened. You know, all you have to do is just that little nudge. Just put the ball when you're going to put it on your boot. With that nudge, put you offline a little bit, and naturally, all right, the kick or whatever, the handball with happens, it doesn't come off cleanly.
So Maloney misses on that occasion. It has to be said, probably a crucial miss for the Pies as we approach three-quarter time. Anyway, the Saints play on, kick out towards that broadcast side. Woody Lane can take the mark. Bit of a swirly kick, but it ends up working out in the favour of the Saints in the end. Lane goes for a bit of a run now, and the three-quarter time siren beats her. So Collingwood could manage a goal, won that quarter with a goal and a behind. They get to 1-2-8. The Saints are still sitting on 4-2-26, courtesy of a goal from Nikki Cormack. A handy lead heading into three-quarter time. Abby Maloney was the goal kicker for the Pies in that term, Pete.
Let's get some thoughts on that third quarter from Toby Hansen.
Yeah, well, I think as the play starts, get a bit tired, a bit hot. The game really opened up. We saw that's how Collingwood got their goal. They had another missed chance, and then late again from Abby Maloney, that crucial miss that could be the difference in this game.
We'll get John O'Ben to have a listen into what Dale Robertson has to say for the Southern Saints during the break. Alan Matthews, do you give the Pies a chance? I mean, I know that goal came at the end late by Cormack for the Southern Saints. Is there still just enough life left in the Pies to find that 3 goals plus?
The gap, I think, is a little bit too wide, but all right, I believe that they've got a little bit of advantage with the breeze. That's why St Kilda come back again in that first and third quarter. The breeze is helping them a little bit, but they're also going for the ball and tackling very, very well. Collingwood's still got to break open. As we said, they got that goal because the kick there was out wide and then developed. They positioned themselves very good. They had 2 there. Anything happened, and then, as you say, Maloney kicked that goal with a bit of pressure, but still kicked the goal. But that's what they got to do. Collingwood now, if they can do the right thing, be first for the ball or get opportunities. There's a couple there still, as I said, a couple of the girls are going out and they're doing a big circle and getting caught. And this is what they should be doing. They should be taking the ball on and go.
Stats are available via the VFL app, which Julia Montesano is doing at this very moment, perusing through, getting some scores from obviously North Melbourne and Hawthorn, but looking at some of the stats from today's game between Collingwood and the Southern Saints, which is great to see that Champion Data are now doing live stats for the VFLW. Yeah,
it certainly is a great sign of things to come for women's footy, and Grace Buchan's leading the way in the statistics category with 19 touches. Hales has got herself up to 15. Katie Lee with 17 touches, as well as 5 marks to go with it. Jackson with the 9 marks leading the way in that category. And on the tackle count, Jackie Vott still leading the way with 7.
And North Melbourne and Hawthorn being played at Arden Street Oval.
Yeah, full time. The Hawks running out big winners, 10-12-72 to North Melbourne, 2-1-13. Bieta Kendall ended up with 3 goals. Tamara, Luke and Strata with 2 apiece.
We'll take a very quick break and we'll be back shortly here on the VFLW YouTube stream.
Even when everything is going great, the black dog of depression can sneak up on you. You're not alone. 1 in 7 Australians are feeling just like you. But there is hope available. The Black Dog Institute provides information on diagnosis, treatment and prevention of mental illnesses like depression, bipolar disorder and anxiety. If the black dog is hounding you, visit blackdoginstitute.org.au for real help and support. Black Dog Institute, putting health in mind.
Storms are Australia's most costly natural disaster. Getting prepared now is the best way to protect people and to minimise damage to your property. Keep your gutters, downpipes and drains clear and stash any loose items in yards or on balconies. Trim any trees and branches hanging too close to your house and keep your roof in good repair. For emergency help, call the SES on 132 500.
Hey.
Hi.
Yo, what's up? We're here for RAD. Here's a simple word of advice. Don't drink and drive.
If you plan to drink, plan ahead.
Give up the keys.
Either drink or drive. Don't mess around trying to do both.
When you drink and drive, you're risking the life of yourself and the lives of everybody on the road.
It takes a lot of courage to convince a friend not to drive after they've been drinking, but you might just be saving their life.
So if you plan to drink, plan not to drive.
No matter what your age, most of us played sport when we were young, and there was always one thing that made you want to disappear into the corner or even give up your chosen sport. And that was when somebody on the sideline hurled abuse at either you or a teammate or an official. These are things that make sport so painful for so many kids, and the time has come to stop it. I'm Usman Khawaja from the Australian cricket team. My message is a simple one. Let kids be kids. Let them enjoy their sport. Find out more at playbytherules.net.au.
It's the VFL Women's Match of the Day.
And welcome back here to Victoria Park for the VFLW YouTube stream called by the Wharf Radio commentary team between the Southern Saints and Collingwood Magpies. Let's quickly go down to John O'Van on the boundary line, who is listening into Dale Robinson.
The Saints camp absolutely fired up. While Dale Robinson credited their defensive pressure, unfortunately they are a rotation down in the forward line. So she just said that the forwards need to be really smart as they transition and hopefully pile on the goals. She just said, look, there's 20 minutes left, so let's make it count.
And stick around, John O'Van will have a post-game interview with one of the players on the winning side as well. And I'm just trying to think, when was the last time Collingwood lost? Because I think, remember, they went through 2021 undefeated. They didn't play in 2020. How long's it been, Julia?
So the last loss was the 7th of September in 2019. So they haven't lost a game in 891 days. The drought could be broken in about 20 minutes, depending on how the Southern Saints go. But Collingwood have a big job in this fourth term, Toby.
891 days, Toby.
Well, no, it is a long time, and it's the Southern Saints game to lose as we get underway in the last term.
Back in the ruck, what could Collingwood do to avoid that stat coming to fruition here at Victoria Park? Their home deck, the Southern Saints, hoping to run out and get a big upset win to get their campaign started. Of course, the AFLW team struggling, so this will be a huge morale booster for them if they get the job done today. They're coming out with a couple of quick handballs now. Vaught stepping up early in this last term, although Hales wrapped up in a tackle. Another drop in the ball. Free kick goes the way of the Southern Saints. Their pressure has been enormous this whole game. They have not let up. Short chip kick comes out to the broadcast side. Brown read it brilliantly. She'll get the hands back into the corridor, and now we'll get it back for her efforts. Goes for the kick, long and high, straight down the middle of the ground. Maloney, great hands. She's got to look for an option up forward. This will be a good start for the Pies. The start they absolutely need in this game. Flies overhead, Xander back there, can't quite pick it up cleanly. Opportunity gone begging, perhaps just gets the kick away. Still bobbling around for Xander. If she could just get a clean hand on it, she's really struggling down there. Ball slipping away, and the umpire eventually balls it up. Let's go down to John O'Van on the boundary.
Just a quick one, an update regarding the Pies. Unfortunately, Ebony Rowe didn't play in the third term, is taking no further part in the game.
Thank you very much to Jono down there on the boundary line, and immediately caught with the football, Tony Brown, and the umpire says, I'll take the football back, please. 45 metres out from the Collingwood goal, going to left of screen on the YouTube stream as the ball hits the ground. Great little hand pass out. Lurking around is Olivia Moe, trying to create the pressure for the Pies. Umpire comes in and says, once again, we have a stoppage, and we'll call for the ball back. Laying the tackle there, Olivia Flanagan for the Southern Saints. Here's the way as he throws the ball up in the air again. Sarah King punches it almost in open space. Then a pack quickly converged. The umpire says that's high, too high. Free kick going to Caitlin Bunker. Is it? No, pardon me. It might be, in fact, at number 65 in Jackson. Yep. Elizabeth Jackson with the resulting free kick directly in front, 45 metres out from goal. Let's see if she's got a leg on her, can go the distance. With the aid of a breeze, Jackson gives it some height. It will just fall short in the square. It's bouncing around. They couldn't quite get the laces on it the last second. And it will go through for a minus score. So that's 139, am I correct? 139 to 4-2-26. It's the Southern Saints leading the Pies here. Let's get some thoughts from Toby Hanson.
Ball just held up there, didn't it? A bit too high from Jackson. Ball held up, got to the top of the square, spilled through for a behind. And the Saints have a chance to pounce. A goal here, and it could be Collingwood's day over.
The Saints are moving in the right direction. They found some space on that outer side. They've just got to get the runner onto it. Eventually they do. Chased by Colburn Veal. Cormack inboard. She gets the hands back. Kick towards goal. Straight down the throat of Katie Lee. She could easily switch play here. Well, it doesn't quite come to her teammate. Ball dribbling around. Eventually, Ma finds herself with some space. She's got to play it to contend with and doesn't win out. Jolliffe dumps her in that tackle. So Vaught can mop up, get it off to Nixon. He can send it right back to where it came from. Lee could have grabbed the hands this time. Rapari gets onto it, can't quite kick towards goal. And eventually hits another Collingwood defender straight down the throat. So a few chances going begging for the Southern Saints. Still there if they want it. Rapari applying some pressure to Hales on the mark. Brown, the kick didn't quite fall to her, so Flanagan can wrap her up just too aggressively.
Alan Matthews.
Yeah, it was a free kick on the shoulder. Yeah, the short kick shouldn't have happened. So I think they should be using it a little bit longer. That's where some of the Collingwood players are getting in a little bit of trouble. If they deliver a little bit further down the ground, instead of trying to do a little short pass, I think they'll have better results.
Emma kicked it in towards the middle of the ground, but Nees will send it back from whence it came for the Southern Saints. Oh, there's plenty here. Rapari waved her arms around, but couldn't mark the football. Punched the ball sideways, though, hoping for Kearns to try and pick it up. Kearns gets there, goes back to Rapari. Kayla Rapari off one step, puts it up towards the top of the goal square. 2-on-1, and the one
Very lucky hands in that.
The one out. Seashores by the seashore. Let's try and get your tongue around that one. Now they go short. Oh, dear.
Exactly what I just said before. They're trying to do the little short pass. Didn't come off.
Melanie Batuna said, thank you very much for the gift. It's not my birthday, but I'll take it. And she will line up the goal from about 35 to 40 metres out, 45-degree angle. Melanie Batuna really to put the nail in the coffin if she can get this. Comes in. Kick is slow and flat and away towards the right. Doesn't quite go out of bounds. Pressure being put on there by Olivia Flanagan. Maybe another opportunity for Batuna. Overran it, then came in to lay the tackle. Umpire circling is going to say no for opportunity. So we're going to reset play 20 metres out in front of the Southern Saints goal at the Sharon Stand end.
See what the Saints can produce here. A good position for them to get a score on the board and put even more pressure on the Pies. Kick around the corner. Cormac, I think it was, but kicks it out of the full. So not quite the desired result for the Southern Saints, but they're getting territory inside their forward 50, Toby.
Yeah, definitely. Well, even though it's all one-way traffic at the moment, the Pies still feel like they're in this, and they do look like they're in this. They might just need one or two things to go their way in the next couple minutes and make a game for it here at Victoria Park.
The kick goes Sarah King's way. Great mark, as Alan alluded to, standing tall in that contest. Goes on the left boot now. Short kick to Ricardo. Doesn't quite reach her. So the Saints come back through Batuna. Just couldn't pick it up cleanly. Ricardo there bumped in a heavy knock with Cormac. Both players able to get up out of trouble. Neal running onto it. Gets around the corner on the broadcast side. Bush was her target. Just ran past her. Sorry, it was Pedersen. Now wraps up Vaught in a tackle and she's gone. Great pressure by Danica Pedersen. Former Williamstown VFLW player now, suiting up for the Pies this season. Will come around the corner, a long high kick. It's all Saints back there. No one could take the mark though, so a chance here for the Pies if they can lay a tackle. Bunker smothers the footy, does the skipper's work. Di Matteo gang tackled. The Saints try to work it out of their defensive 50. Jolliffe there. Ran past it, so Jackson wearing it like a glove, able to get a hand to it, but kicked it straight out of bounds for a lasso free kick. It's not the old get out of trouble free kick, that one.
So Jackson with the footy, decides to go for the big wind-up. Kicks it towards the hot spot, 35 metres out from goal. Almost went through a few pair of hands, but it was cleaned up in the end by Buchan. Grace Buchan's kick, manages to spot up a teammate. And the umpire's blown the whistle, and a 50-metre penalty as well. That's got to hurt. Jackie Vaught will now get marched up the line towards centre wing. Broadcast side of the ground here at Victoria Park on the VFLW YouTube stream. And called by the WARFradio.com commentary team. That's WARFradio.com. And our normal radio feed with pre-game show will be back next week. Games to be confirmed by league headquarters early in the week as Vaught Now kicks it long up the line. Trying to get front posse there was Cowan. Knocked out of her hands. Saints kick it in towards the forward line. Oh, a little bit of weaving work here by Amelia Peck, who couldn't quite finish it off. Away for a minor score. 4-3. 27 for the Southern Saints. 1-3-9 for Collingwood. And Alan did all the good work, just couldn't do the celebration.
They've done the right thing because avoid being in front of the pack then, getting the mark, and they're also getting the 50 metre. But also her long kick, as I said, Collingwood doing the short passing, not coming off. A big long kick, gets it into the forward line and creates opportunity. And unfortunately, should have been a goal, but just missed.
Umpire says I'll reset play here at the half-forward playing for the Southern Saints. So the Pies on the verge of losing their first game in 891 days at VFLW level. Now Marla Neal harassed off the football. Hurried little kick along the ground. Petuna was calling for it. Didn't come to her. Emma was looking around. Neal again. Got dispossessed of the football. Winnie Lang has a shot. And it's away to the right-hand side. We'll register as a minor score. 4-4-28, the Southern Saints. 1-3-9 Collingwood here on the VFLW YouTube stream.
So Collingwood now getting ready for a kick in through Katie Lee, who's had a ripper of a game.
So cool at the moment, attacking a lot much better than Collingwood at the present stage.
Collingwood trying to get into attack now. Maloney, the intended target, just couldn't get past her. Eventually gets it back, goes around the corner. Try to find a teammate, but it was all Saints back there. They were back inside forward 50 now. A chance, they just couldn't quite wrap up Tani Brown. So Neal able to get the kick down the corridor to no one in particular. Gains territory though. Bunker, heavy bump, goes in again. Eventually the handball comes out the way of the Saints. And now a kick comes towards Winnie Lake, just goes over her head, so has to wrestle it and pick it up. Corralled by Pies now. And the pressure just falls towards the way the Collingwood, and Brown can take a settling mark. Just outside there, forward 50. Goes on the attack now. Wheels around the corner, gets the kick, but intercept mark taken by Buchan.
Buchan with a footy. Just looking around for some options. Decides to work it sideways. Gentile takes the mark for the Southern Saints. Still in defensive 50. Her kick looking for Lang. Floats in the air. At the back is Sarah King. Gang tackled. Brought to the ground. And the umpire says no for opportunity and will call for a ball up.
King's been dominating in the ruck most of the day. Voigt has been helping and assisting a lot at times with Sarah, the other ruckman from St Kilda, doing a lot of the bulk work.
Here's the kick around the corner. Marlon Neal wanted to try and ran it. It was an absolute grubber, then got pickpocketed for her. Cormac goes around. He goes to the hand pass back. One-step kick now going up the line for the Southern Saints. Picked off. And getting back there to take the mark is Molly Emond. Molly Emond with the football. Looking for some options. Gets the hurry up from the umpire. Runs into space, then kicks it to the hot spot. 40 metres out from goal, directly in front. Ball bounces out the back. Who's going to get there in the foot race first? Trying to lay on the tackle at the crucial moment was Matilda Zander. And it forces the ball over the boundary line and out of bounds. We'll call for a ball in 2 metres around from the right-hand point post.
Excellent result for Collingwood, keeping it in their forward line. The momentum just starting to shift as they start to run out of time.
Let's see what they've got left in the take here. Really high boundary throw in the rucks. Can tap out this one. McCarthy tackled immediately. Umpire said, you're gone. So a free kick towards the way of the Pies. And Marla Neal can take a set shot if she wants it. On a really difficult angle. The wind, you can see the trees blurling around. Whirling, I don't know if that's a word, but
I think it was whirling, wasn't it?
Whirling is the word I'm looking for. Thank you, Alan, in the background. And now Neal comes in for her approach. Had a really good day today. Couldn't quite get the kick away. An intercept mark taken there by the Saints.
And that's being in front again from the Saints then. They get the results by being in front of the pack.
Jolliffe uses the hands instead. McCarthy wanted to go back to her, but instead fakes it. Goes for the long kick down the line.
Good mark.
This time Lee couldn't take the mark. As Adel alluded to, a great mark taken by Amelia Peck. Goes short. The Collingwood will just work, Saints will work the line, sorry. Here they go down that outer side, just flies over the next kick. Hallett there, able to mop up for the Pies, gets it to Lee, who's tackled by Rapari, able to get the hands away. And now the Saints can egg to forward 50. Winnie Leg, a foot race between her. And it looks like Molly Emmons down there. And Emmons wins out.
Bit difficult.
Emmons got Xander short.
Maybe the umpire's just trying to keep the game alive.
Is that what it was? Okay.
Line that whistle. Now towards Xander. Xander at the half-back flank. A little short on the kick. Molly Emmons now takes the mark. Emmons taking it in front of Hines. Emmons now goes with his chip kick up the line looking for Maloney. Maloney now with the footy. The umpire yells out stand. I think she yelled out stand, that or she's singing the REM song. As kicks the ball inboard. Came off hands. Now calling for it is Bunker. Bunker receives. Gave up the hand pass. Oh, Corbinville went without it. Corbinville has to go again. Fighting and scrapping in hard on the ground. Watching on is Cormac. Getting in there is Marlon Neal, almost a fresh area with a kick. Hallett's got it, fight her way through. Hand pass intercepted by Black. Black quickly by hands to Sultry. Sultry on the right boot, looking to go towards centre half forward. Awkward bouncing ball. Read best by Nicole Hales. Hand pass wasn't all that flash though. Hales wanted to go back in for a second crack at it. Going there, Rhiannon Bush got pushed off the football too easily. Hurry kick there by Batuna going inside 50. Rapari is away to the right. Minor score 4-5-29. The Southern Saints 1-3-9 for Collingwood. Late in the final quarter here on the VFLW YouTube stream.
Again, the St Kilda forward line trying to, as much as possible, keep me open so that get results, and that's where they just missed again going into that forward line with the kick.
So Pies still trapped on that outer side, this time Hallett with ball in hand. Gets it into the corridor. Couple of players fly. One of them was Vaught, couldn't quite bring it down, but good roving. And the Saints are out here through McCarthy if she can pick it up cleanly. Can't quite do so. Di Matteo read it better, went around the corner and kicked it straight back towards the Southern Saints. And they take yet another intercept mark. They've been really building a wall back there. Nixon goes wide to Vaught.
It's more than a wall. All players are down on St Kilda's wing position.
So really populating the ground, the Saints. Couple of heavy hits, but eventually falls to DeAngelis. Couldn't quite get the hands away. All Pies there to mop up. They get it out of trouble momentarily, but again, Vaught back there. Just looking for an option. What can she find? It's good passage of play here by the Saints. A couple of players flying it now. At the bottom of the pack are the Pies, and they get it out of trouble. Ricardo dumped her player in a tackle and will hold up things momentarily in the centre square. And Alan, the Saints are really flooding all areas of the field.
Exactly right. As I said, if you look at the ground point of view of Victoria Park right at the moment, I cannot see a player on the kindergarten side from half the wing position. All players are down forward from St Kilda's point of view.
And mark taken by the Saints. I think might be Anna Stewart out there on the half-forward flank on the city side of the ground. Decides to get going very quickly towards the pocket. Good grab taken, and getting out there is Amelia Peck, who stood tall. But she'll be run up against the boundary. Tight angle, kicking from about 30 to 35 metres out. Toby, if you're having a shot at goal on this one, where are you trying to aim?
Well, with the wind swirling around down that end of the ground, I'm putting it at the top of the square. I think the Saints have proved today they can take a strong pack mark to see.
I would go for the far goal post.
Come out.
Let's see how Amelia Peck goes. She comes in. Oh, that's a bit of a mongrel punt. Rapari almost got on the end of it, though. Got punched away from her, and then she went in to try and lay the secondary tackle. Ball now in dispute, 25 metres out from the Southern Saints goal, and the umpire says it's locked up and it's going nowhere, and I'll ask for the football back. And putting the hand up to volunteer for the ruck once more is Amelia Peck. Brings it to ground. Batuna running on by. Jackson was there. So was King. Her kick was immediately smothered. Peck is caught by King. And once again, we'll call for a ball up.
So the Saints just hold it up inside their forward 50. On the verge of a historic win at Victoria Park. Be a huge morale boosting win for them under coach Del Robertson, doing a fantastic job. The Pies though want to try and salvage some more points before this game ends. Maloney with the high ball towards the outer side. Pedersen, now Xander. She's had a really good game, Matilda Xander, must be said. Buchan tries to intercept the kick, eventually picks it up, goes through a kick up and down the mine shaft, but it goes out on the full.
Wind took it away.
And the Saints are finishing as they started in that first quarter, just rebounding so strongly off the half-back line. Collingwood hasn't had an answer for it. And with the last couple minutes to tick away, I think the Saints will keep their head very high.
Pedersen with the football will kick it long towards centre wing. Went through the hands there of Nixon, who went to try and back up and chase for it. Doing the harassing work there was Di Matteo. And the umpires come in and said they're holding the football. Free kick going the way of Matilda Xander. Xander for the Pies. Gives off a little hand pass, very casually in fact. And the kick went long up the line, only to be intercepted. Getting back there is the one and only Grace Buchan. Buchan, who led the Pies to a premiership in 2019. Now with the Saints. Goes for a run, gets on the right boot, kicks it straight up the line. Went over the pack. Amelia Peck's going to get to it first. Down at her feet, trying to paddle it forward. Nevo Connor going with her. Peck bent over and finally got it. Gave her the hand pass off. One-step kick looking in the Rapari direction. Spoiled her opponent there that was going with her in Cowan. Ball still in dispute at the half forward here for the Southern Saints as Rapari goes in, picks it up. Got it across though to Hannah Stewart. Empty goal square. Ball bounces across the face, still stays in. And the Pies will end up cleaning it up right on the last line of defence. The kick is an awkward bouncing football at the half-back flank. Managing to swallow it there, Ricardo. Ricardo goes up the line, looking for Colburnville. Here comes McCarthy! One does not simply run away from Chatty Cathy. And Kate McCarthy with a run-down tackle gets the resulting free kick. And the siren goes to sound full-time here at Victoria Park in Abbotsford. And after 891 days, the Pies have suffered a loss, going down to the Southern Saints in the end, 4-5-29 to 1-3-9. John O'Van, I'll let you go out there and see maybe Kayla Rapari, number 24. Have a chat with her, mate, on our post-game show. Jump in when you've got her. But to our thoughts on this game from Alan Matthews and Toby Hansen.
Yeah, first of all, I think St Kilda were dominating from the centre, even though that Sarah King got most of the knockouts, but they sort of like got the ball out from the middle going there. Voigt and Peck were helping out in that ruck duel with Sarah Black jumping in as well. But they got the results and they got the forward movement all the way along with the St Kilda players.
Toby Hansen.
Well, St Kilda just did the 1%ers just so much better than Collingwood did. They were taking the marks when they needed. Collingwood, they couldn't hack that small kick coming out of the back line. They needed long clearing kicks and they just couldn't get it done. St Kilda ran away very comfortably in the end because they could do those small things right.
And Julia Montesano, you're going to have the stats in front of you and you'll be able to look at some of the key winners today, particularly first for the Southern Saints, and who at least put their hand up for the Pies.
Yeah, so for the Southern Saints, it was Grace Buchan leading the way. She finished with 25 touches, 7 handballs in that one as well, 5 marks and 2 tackles. Katie Lee for the Pies, she tried hard all day. You can't fault her effort. 22 disposals for her, 7 marks and 4 tackles. And then goal kickers were Flanagan, DeAngelis, Exon and Cormac for the Saints, and Maloney got on the board for Collingwood.
As we see the Saints celebrating, they wanted one back over the Pies because they've been close in the past. They didn't quite get their matchup that they wanted in the finals last year. They end up having to play Geelong. The Pies knocked them out at the preliminary final in 2019. And as much as it's not a final per se, at least it's a little bit of revenge, you could say, for the Southern Saints. John O'Van, in fact, has got Kayla Rapari down there. Let's go down to John O'Van on the field.
Indeed, thanks, Pete. I do have very exhausted Kayla Rapari. Well, what a day, eh? Absolutely intense heat, and you got the job done.
Yeah, we definitely did. We knew it was going to be a hot day and a hard game to play today, coming against Collingwood, but we got it done.
After 870 days. plus he finally got the wood over him and they finally ended their winning streak. What was the message from the coach pre-game, and I guess what was the main strategy in defeating him, because you got ahead of him really well?
Just pretty much.
Hiya, how are you?
Hard. We've come through and done all this training, and yeah, 5 minutes we wanted to come out real hard and make it, I don't know, hard to come back from really, and go out, play our game that we know how to play, and that's what we did. So we were really good with that.
A fairly crazy pre-season. You lost a few players out, couldn't train as a group because of the health and safety protocols. Evidently, round one and a massive win that didn't faze you.
No, yeah, like you say, we lost a lot of players throughout most of the pre-season, 18 away at one stage. But thankfully, our doctors are great, our physios are great, we've got everyone back on the track, and yeah, come back pretty strong, so can't even put a frown on our faces.
Kayla Rapari, thanks for joining us on WolfRadio.com.
Thank you so much.
There we are to Jono Van. Thank you very much, Jono. Some great work there on the boundary. And you can see, Jono, just behind you, look at the Saints in a huddle. This win means a lot to them, and it's only round one.
It does indeed. Final words coming from a few people within the group, and as you can hear, they're absolutely pumped. We're about to get a song, I'm not sure, probably not, but we'll see what happens.
If they do, jump on in, mate, but otherwise we'll continue here with our post-game show, which we'll be wrapping up very shortly on the VFLW YouTube channel. And don't forget, we'll have our regular radio feed, including 1 hour pre-game show next week back on WARFradio.com once we have our server issues sorted out. But for Alan Matthews, I mean, as we talk about it, it's only round one, but to knock off a team that's been so dominant in Collingwood, what can that do to set up a season for the Saints?
That can set them right up, because it'll give them confidence of going for the ball, confidence that they can deliver to their players, confidence that the whole side is backing each other up. As I said towards that last quarter, I'm not sure what the coach said, flood the forward line down so it doesn't get past Collingwood and they won't get past that centre line, and that's exactly what they did. It didn't get past there because they just flooded the game right up and made it hard for Collingwood coming through and trying to break open, which they tried to do, but it got forced all the time from the St Kilda defenders coming straight back, and they were kicking longer than what Collie was.
And I was going to say, and Toby, did you get a sense of almost overcoming adversity for them? Not only, as we said, as you heard from Kayla Rapari, with the health and safety protocols knocking out a bunch of players, but we know at least for the girls that are playing in the AFLW level, which kind of filters through morale-wise to the next level down. The AFLW team has been really struggling this year without a win as we speak. To finally, I guess, for the club, get a win on the board and a good win.
Yeah, of course. Well, today felt like an 8-pointer, to be honest. But knocking off a team like Collingwood, it's no easy feat. And then, of course, the AFLW side, to get the double this afternoon against the Brisbane Lions, it's every chance for this football club to turn things around. And they looked very solid. It's not all doom and gloom, though, I wouldn't have thought, for Collingwood. They just still have some standouts. Jackson was fantastic. Maloney down forward as well. So definitely positive takeaway for the Pies, but it was the Southern Saints day.
I was just down at the bench walking off. Olivia Marr in a neck brace, just lying down there. She's got a bit of concussion and she's not in a good way. A very deflated Pies bench, to say the least.
Let's hope that's just precautionary more than anything, but that is certainly concerning to hear. And Julia Montesano, I guess for the Pies, I mean, as much as we joke, look, it's one loss in 891 days, but it's got to be deflating to try and start a season like this when you've only put one goal on the scoreboard. Yes, there's obviously plenty of time to turn it around, but considering they've set themselves a very high bar of how they've performed over the last 3 seasons that we've played, didn't live up to their standard or expectations.
Yeah, and as we mentioned during the call, not a significant amount of player turnover either. They've got a lot of core from that side last year that was pretty much destined to win that premiership. Obviously, Imogen Barnett went off and got drafted, Jennifer Guy to North Melbourne, Jazzy Ferguson to North Melbourne as well in the AFLW. So a few players lost, but nothing you know, too major or too particular. And of course, it's an interesting test for Chloe McMillan. She's had a really good run in the VFLW. I wonder what her response will be. Is she a coach that sprays her players? Is she a coach that remains calm and measured? And it's also hard as well because they don't know who they've got next until early on in the week. So you can't do some early scouting and say go on to the next game because you don't know who you've got, where you're playing, when you're playing, what weather you're playing in. So it's a really hard season, and a loss in the VFLW actually means quite a lot in the scheme of things in this COVID world.
Actually, I'll see if I can just bring up now. I can tell you who they're playing, because what happens, the matchups have been released. It's just a case of the timings and venues are still to be confirmed. For example, like the KC Demons game that's played yesterday morning against Port Melbourne, originally in a very, very draft format of the fixture, that was actually going to be played tonight. It was meant to be a Sunday 6 p.m. game under lights. They had to move it to a 10:30 a.m. game on a Saturday morning. So that's how much things have changed. But I can tell you these are the matchups. It's Carlton v the Southern Saints. So ironically, they're meeting in VFLW level and AFLW level. It'll be interesting to see if they try and make that game a double header at Icon Park, or if they keep it on separate days. KC Demons will be playing Darebin, both sides coming off a win. North Melbourne versus Collingwood, both sides coming off a loss. That's at Arden Street Oval. The Western Bulldogs versus Williamstown. Williamstown heartbroken up that loss against Darebin, but against the Bulldogs side that's short-handed at the moment and got absolutely flogged. Maybe Williamstown can bounce back. Essendon versus Port Melbourne. I don't think the Borough are going to like having to go out to the hangar. That's what Essendon did. And this will be an intriguing one because both sides had two big wins at Deakin University, Geelong and Hawthorn.
I do like that one. The rivalry from the men's is carrying through to the women's. They've both had some fierce battles in the past few years, Geelong and the Hawks. And with the new look Hawthorn team and a Cats team that really sent a message to the Blues yesterday, it's going to be a great matchup.
In my humble opinion, the AFL haven't come out yet and said what is their AFL.com.au stream of the week, but that kind of reach to me is the game of the week.
Yeah, probably as well. And, well, you know, as you said, Hawthorn and Geelong have a bit of a crazy, but it's going to be, where the venue, it's a Geelong home game, isn't it? So it would probably be at Warren.
Deakin University.
Yeah, so, yeah, who knows? They might get that one, but there's plenty of good games on next week, as we know.
It's time for us to just about wrap up. First of all, John O'Van, thank you very much for your work on the boundary today.
It's great to be back, team, and great to welcome you, Alan, and Toby as well. So, yeah, looking forward to next week.
Yeah, first of all, down the end, the man that was coached by Alan Joyce. Alan Matthews, thank you very much for your input and a marvellous debut today.
No, thanks very much. I got a little soft spot for Darebin when they won yesterday. I was quite pleased with that because I've been down Darebin